with voting taking place across 30 challenge from BJP's Gamalian Hembrom. Now in Jamtara, the battle between Congress's Irfan Ansari and BJP's Sita Soren focuses on family legacy and political influences, while Girid sees a contest centered on employment and education. Dhanbad sees an economic concern taking center stage, with both parties focusing on mining industry reforms and local job creation. Now in Dumka, tribal rights and development are key points of contention, with both sides vying for the ST vote. Now, with these critical issues at play, today's vote will significantly impact Jharkhand's political future. And we are getting a reaction from BJP's Babulal Marandi. Listen to it.
झारखंड में लोगों की मोड़ ही है कि भाई हेमंत सोरेन की सरकार को बदलनी है। 5 वर्षों तक झारखंड की जनता ने काफी तकलीफ सहा है, चाहे बूढ़े बुजुर्ग हो, माँ बहनें हो या नौजवान हो या किसान हो या मजदूर हो, सबके सामने एक बड़ा संकट रहा है। तो अब झारखंड की जनता को वो दिन और वो अवसर आया है कि परिवर्तन के लिए आज लोग मतदान करेंगे और भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एनडीए के पक्ष में लोग मतदान करेंगे। तो इस बार 51 प्लस सीटें भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एनडीए गठबंधन को आएगी।
All right, I'm joined by my colleagues Chandramohan as well as Arunima. Let me go across to Chandramohan first. Chandramohan जी, पहले ये बताइए कि आप कहां से अभी रिपोर्टिंग कर रहे हैं, क्या वोटिंग वहां स्टार्ट हो चुकी है, और बरेत के बारे में बताइए कि कितना टफ होने वाला है हेमंत सोरेन के लिए इस बार, या एक इजी मैच होने वाला है?
बिल्कुल, देखिए हम अभी देवघर मौजूद हैं, देवघर में, और ये बाबा की नगरी मानी जाती है। और एक बार तस्वीर आपको दिखाने की कोशिश करेंगे। यहाँ पर देवघर में वोटिंग शुरू हो चुकी है और हम अभी जहाँ मौजूद हैं ये बीएड कॉलेज है, जहाँ पर अभी थोड़ी लंबी कतार दिख रही थी, लेकिन लोग वोटिंग करके और धीरे धीरे बाहर जाने लगे हैं। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि इस बार 12 जिले के 38 विधानसभा क्षेत्र में जहां पर चुनाव हो रहा है, वहां पर एक तरफ सोरेन परिवार है जिनका किस्मत दांव पर है। हेमंत सोरेन चुनाव मैदान में है, उनकी पत्नी कल्पना सोरेन चुनाव मैदान में है और उनके भाई बसंत सोरेन चुनाव मैदान में है। तो वहीं बीजेपी के जो दिग्गज नेता हैं वो चुनाव मैदान में हैं। एक तरफ जो यहाँ के झारखंड बीजेपी के अध्यक्ष हैं बाबूलाल मरांडी, वो चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं, तो वहीं दूसरी तरफ अमर बाउरी जो नेता प्रतिपक्ष यहाँ पर थे वो चुनाव मैदान में है। तो सबसे दिलचस्प बात यह है कि इस बार जो है वो एक तरफ सोरेन परिवार की किस्मत दांव पर है, तो दूसरी तरफ जो बीजेपी के दिग्गज नेता हैं वो चुनाव मैदान में हैं। और एक बार फिर से आपको तस्वीर दिखाने की कोशिश करेंगे। ये देखिए, ये वोटर हैं जो धीरे धीरे वोट देकर वापस जा रहे हैं। यहाँ पर एक दंपत्ति यहाँ पर पहुंचे, हम उनसे बात करने की कोशिश करेंगे। आपने वोट कर दिया?
हाँ।
क्या सोचकर बटन दबाया? मन में क्या चल रहा था जब बटन दबा रही थी?
अपना अधिकार है वोट देना, और देश में अच्छा नेता चुनने के लिए वोट आवश्यक है, सभी को देना चाहिए।
आप वोट कर दिए?
यस कर लिए।
क्या सोचकर बटन दबा रहे थे? मन में क्या चल रहा था जब बटन
ग्लोबल वार्मिंग पर जो काम करता है, 1 वर्ल्ड 1 अर्थ एंड 1 नेशन, 1 अर्थ जो कहता है सेव एनवायरनमेंट सेव बायोडाइवर्सिटी, जो इस पर काम करता है उसको हम वोट किए। आप समझ गए होंगे।
तो आप साफ तौर पर समझ सकते हैं कि लोगों के मन में क्या चल रहा है। और ये जहां पर हम अभी मौजूद हैं ये बीएड कॉलेज है, 6 बूथ है यहाँ पर, और 6 बूथ में ये सामने जो दिखाई दे रहा है एक बूथ है। यहाँ पर अभी कतारें लंबी हो गई थी, लेकिन अभी लोग जो यहाँ पर पहुंचे थे वो वोट देकर वापस जा चुके हैं और सुरक्षा का चाक चौबंद इंतजाम है। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि यहाँ पर जो दुमका इलाका है वहां पर कई ऐसे बूथ हैं जहां पर 4 बजे तक मतदान है, क्योंकि सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट को लेकर वहां पर 4 बजे तक का मतदान रखा गया है। लेकिन बाकी अन्य जिन 38 विधानसभा सीटों पर अभी वोट डाले जा रहे हैं, सुबह 7 बजे मतदान शुरू हो चुका है, वहां पर शाम 5 बजे तक वोट डाले जाएंगे। और सबसे दिलचस्प जो बात है वो बरहेट को लेकर है, जहां से हेमंत सोरेन चुनाव मैदान में है। अब देखना 23 तारीख को है कि जनता किसे अपना हीरो चुनती है। लेकिन वोट शुरू हो चुका है, वोटिंग शुरू हो चुकी है और लोगों का बूथ तक पहुंचने का सिलसिला अब शुरू हो चुका है झारखंड में।
और चंद्रमोहन जी, ये भी बताइए हमें कि जब हम बीजेपी की बात करते हैं, उन्होंने जो सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा इस बार उठाया है वो है घुसपैठियों का मुद्दा। क्या ये रेजोनेट कर रहा है ग्राउंड पे? क्या ये घुसपैठियों की दिक्कत है? लोग बोल रहे हैं हाँ ये एक मुद्दा है।
बिल्कुल, देखिए जब से यह चुनाव शुरू हुआ था उस समय से ही दो चीजें जो हैं वो सबसे अधिक चुनाव मैदान में घूमती रही और चुनाव प्रचार के दौरान घूमती रही। एक तो ये था कि एक रहोगे, सेफ रहोगे और बटोगे तो कटोगे, और दूसरा जो मुद्दा था वो था बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठियों को लेकर। तो बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठी जहां पर हम अभी मौजूद हैं, यहां से कुछ ही दूरी पर एक रिफ्यूजी कॉलोनी है, तकरीबन 70 से 80 परिवार वहां पर रहता है, और वो लोग भी साफ तौर पर यह मानते हैं कि देखिए घुसपैठ बढ़ा है, और घुसपैठ बढ़ने से जो यहाँ के रहने वाले लोग हैं उनकी सुविधाएं जो वो छीनने वाली है। ऐसे में जो यहाँ के जो रिफ्यूजी कॉलोनी के रहने वाले लोग हैं वो साफ तौर पर यह मानते हैं कि देखिए ये एक बड़ा मुद्दा है, और आम लोग भी ये मानते हैं यहाँ के झारखंड के कि देखिए घुसपैठ तो बड़ा है। भले ही वो अभी राजनीतिक मुद्दा बनाकर एक तरफ से ये कहा जा रहा है कि घुसपैठ बड़ा है, इस पर रोक लगाना है, तो दूसरी तरफ सरकार कोई जवाब देने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी जो बात है वो घुसपैठ एक मुद्दा झारखंड में पहले भी रहा है, आज भी है, और जाहिर सी बात है जब सरकार आएगी, चाहे जिसकी भी सरकार आएगी, उस समय भी रहेगा। क्योंकि कई ऐसे इलाके हैं दुमका में जहां पर नए नए टोले बस गए, नए नए कस्बे बस गए, और ये साफ तौर पर लोग यहाँ के मानते हैं कि वो वही लोग हैं जो दूसरे जगह से माइग्रेट होकर आए हैं या फिर घुसपैठ करके आए हैं। तो ये एक मुद्दा आज भी है और मेरे ख्याल से कल भी रहेगा, जब नई सरकार आएगी उसके लिए भी।
बिल्कुल, थैंक यू चंद्रमोहन हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए और सारी जानकारी बताने के लिए। नाउ विद दैट इट्स अ रैप ऑन दिस बुलेटिन। मोर न्यूज एंड अपडेट ऑन द अदर साइड। स्टे ट्यून्ड टू CNN News 8।
मुख्यमंत्री पद के बारे में उन्होंने बहुत स्पष्टता के साथ कहा है कि मुख्यमंत्री का फैसला बाद में होगा। राजनीति में जो कुर्सी मिल जाए उसको कंफर्टेबल बना लेना चाहिए।
तय कर लिया है कि महायुति सरकार फिर चाहिए, क्योंकि ये आम लोगों की सरकार है। सीएम इन चीफ मिनिस्टर लोग बोलते हैं, मैं समझता हूँ सीएम इज कॉमन मैन।
पहले हमें किसी हालत में महायुति का गवर्नमेंट लाना है। हम लोगों ने मान लिया है और तय कर लिया है कि महाराष्ट्र से बीजेपी का सुपड़ा साफ करने का।
Maharashtra is facing the biggest challenge of its time as we see today.
Sharad Pawar made Ajit Pawar deputy CM not once, not twice, not thrice, 4 times.
इसको समर्थन देंगे
की सस्पेन्स अंत तक रहे.
नाही, सस्पेन्स तर नाहीच, कधी ठेवला पण नाही, ठेवणार पण नाही. मी लोकसभेला मराठा समाजाला सांगितलं होतं, तुम्हाला ज्याला पाडायचं त्याला पाडा, ज्याला निवडून आणायचं त्याला आणा. आजही मी तेच सांगितलं विधानसभेला, तुम्हाला ज्याला पाडायचं त्याला पाडा, ज्याला निवडून आणायचं त्याला आणा.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
पहले मैं जिद्दी थी, अब आप अड़ जाते हो. पहले मैं नहीं समझती थी, अब आप वक्त लगाते हो. नजरें चाहे हों दो, है सपना एक ही हमारा.
The Thackeray family. Payal is in fact reporting from central Nagpur, tracking RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat, Yesha from Thane tracking Eknath Shinde, and Pallavi from Baramati tracking Sharad Pawar. Now let me go first across to Payal, who's in fact reporting from central Nagpur tracking Mohan Bhagwat. Payal, tell us what time is Mohan Bhagwat supposed to arrive there, and also given the fact that in Haryana we have seen how RSS played a very crucial role. What are you observing when it comes to Maharashtra, the role of RSS in the Maharashtra elections?
Well, to begin with, Mohan Bhagwat, the RSS chief, is already in the polling booth. He should be out within the next couple of minutes after having cast his vote. Remember, he came here at least 10 minutes before the voting really began, because, you know, this is where the RSS headquarters really is. And this is a very, very important center as far as the BJP is really concerned, because, both, whether it's Devendra Fadnavis or whether it's Nitin Gadkari, both son of the soil, or their allegiance to the RSS, and of course have been part of the RSS from their very, very childhood as well. So the RSS contribution is extremely important as far as the BJP is really concerned. The Jan Sangh is, what they date back to, and we've seen what they were able to do, in Haryana. So even if sources are to be believed, over here in Maharashtra, they're working overtime. Their basic agenda, Sharon, is to in fact encourage people to go out and vote. That last ditch effort to, campaigning has shut about 24 to 48 hours ago, but the last bit of effort to in fact take people, to the polling booth, that's exactly what the RSS specializes in. And the workers have been working overtime. I'm given to understand that they're working in not just the constituency of the BJP is very strong, but also the constituencies where the Mahayuti is in fact contesting as well. So that's something which is going to be important to see. We'll see Mohan Bhagat stepping out.
आपको जलाने आया हूं, आपके लिए मैं लड़ने के लिए मैदान में आया हूं।
हर परिवार को सालाना करीब 3 लाख रुपए का सहयोग मिले। हर महिला को 3,000 रुपए प्रति माह मिले।
हम एक रहेंगे तो सेफ रहेंगे।
Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever there are polls, well, we'll all be here at the CNN News 18 studios to get to the battle for the states or for the battle for the center, the big Lok Sabha elections downwards. The next big election is Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Jharkhand second phase. Maharashtra goes to elections, goes to the ballot today in a single phase. It's a high-stakes battle for the 288 assembly seats there. 81 seats up for the grabs in Jharkhand. Now in Maharashtra, the ruling Mahayuti alliance featuring BJP, Ajit Pawar's NCP faction and Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena faces off against the opposition. Maha Vikas Aghadi, a coalition of the Congress, Sharad Pawar's NCP and Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena. With over 4,100 candidates in the fray, polling has begun in full swing across the state. The race is on. 234 general seats, 29 SC seats, 25 ST seats up for the grabs. The outcome of this election will determine Maharashtra's political landscape over the next 5 years, and the stakes couldn't be higher with high tension, fierce campaigning, every seat crucial in this battle for power, ladies and gentlemen. Mohan Bhagwat has already cast his ballot. Ashish Shelar cast his ballot. Akshay Kumar, an early riser, already out there. Ajit Pawar, already out there. One by one, the big faces from all walks of life have to go out and vote, and that's critical. Across the 288 seats, assembly seats in Maharashtra, especially the 36 seats in Mumbai, people have to go out and vote. Mumbaikars, you have to beat your record. You have to ensure that you are there in high numbers. It's a working day. It's a weekday. We hope you have not taken off on a holiday. We hope you go out there and vote. Every single person in Maharashtra and every single person in the second phase of Jharkhand, you must go out and exercise your right. That is, and of course, your duty to go out and ungli kar, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Anand Narasimhan. With me, Zakat Jacob, Nalin Mehta, Rahul Shiv Shankar, and Aman Sharma. You've got the wall. Does this wall say anything as of now?
Maharashtra is the most difficult state to predict on the wall because you never know what happens even after the election. You know, people who are on this side jump to the other side, people on the other side jump to this side. But I think this is how the map looked last time around. The BJP and the United Sena, it was a decisive win, 162 at 42, almost 43% vote share. The Congress NCP alliance, almost 8% behind with just 105 seats out of 288. But the world has changed. Maharashtra has changed since 2019. There were only 4 parties back then. There are 6 parties now. And frankly, I think after this election, depending on the result, that 6 might go back to being 4. But who those 4 are, we'll have to wait and see. Aman had been traveling to Maharashtra. You were there for a week, 10 days. What's the sense that you got? Are the voters sort of okay with this Tod, Ford and all that?
Well, Zaka, I would say Maharashtra is a very, very complex election. 6 parties contested election. No other state election is like that. There were 4 parties. As I said, there have been 2 parties. So there is a lot of confusion. I think also amongst the people on the ground, we saw that in the Lok Sabha. The symbol has gone. Uddhav Thackeray now has the mashal. The bow and the arrow is with Shinde. The ghadi has gone somewhere else. So it's a very, very complex election. But I think one thing is very, very clear, that what happened in the Lok Sabha, the mood seemed to have changed. This is what I saw on the ground. In the Lok Sabha, the dominant slogan was Samvidhan Khatre Mein Hai. That was the slogan, and I think people got a lot swayed by that, especially in Vidarbha and other parts where there is a lot of Dalit population. This time, I think the dominant slogan in the election is Ek Hai To Safe Hai, the line given by the Prime Minister. The BJP is trying OBC consolidation in its favor in this election. They want to bring back the OBCs in their, pala, as they say. If that happens, if the OBCs consolidate for BJP, if some part of the Dalits who had moved in a big way to the MVA come back to the BJP camp, realizing that maybe the Samvidhan Khatre Mein Hai was a hoax, then the BJP is in with a very, very good chance. But I think if the MVA, the narrative continues in this election, because it is still there, I must say, on the ground, it is not dominant, but it is still there. If that continues, and the Sharad Pawar being the fulcrum in a way of the MVA, because even the BJP admit that Sharad Pawar is still in his game. If he is able to rally the MVA in the way he has in the past, then I think MVA is also not out of the picture.
Emotion card, but Maharashtra का state, Maharashtra की परिस्थिति ऐसी है कि हम तुम्हें इतनी पार्टी कर देंगे कि कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे कि पार्टी किसकी है, सिंबल किसका है और वोट किसको दे. That's the situation, Rahul Shivshankar. Very unprecedented. And somewhere do you think the voter angst will come out?
Look, fundamentally, this election really is going to boil down to how the 2 lead polls of both the MVA and the Mahayuti perform. The BJP last time got about 83. If you look at the Lok Sabha election projected onto an assembly map, the BJP was leading in 83 assembly constituencies. Now, if it can maintain that strike rate, because it's only contesting about 154, I think, seats this time. If it can maintain that 50% plus strike rate, it will think that it's really done itself a great service, because it would have held back the Congress. There are 70 direct contests, so a little more than 70 direct contests with the Congress party. So if Rahul Gandhi wants to stand tall in the House as LOP, he has to make himself and his party counted in this particular election. The stakes have never been higher for Maharashtra. Let me just finish. The stakes have never been higher for Maharashtra simply because this election doesn't just decide the outcome here in this state across 288 seats, but will have a huge bearing on politics ahead, even the confidence with which the government goes in with its legislative agenda in the forthcoming parliamentary session. The winter session will depend literally on the outcome here.
True, the Congress will have to deliver at least a 50% strike rate to say that we are back in the game against the BJP. Before we get Nalin in, let's just quickly signpost some of the aspects, and then we'll take the conversation forward even as we look at polling. I think the important part, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Maharashtra voter has to go out and vote. Now, whether they vote decisively in favor of one or the other, but they have to come out and vote in large numbers. And I think one of the most critical aspects is going to be how these voters are going to come out and vote. 9.7 crore voters, if my memory serves me right, with about 5 crore voters, that is male. There are quite a few who are voting for the first time, about 22 lakh first-time voters. Freebies and reservations, some of the key issues. Batenge to katenge, will it resonate? Ek hai to safe hai has become a maha mantra. The caste dynamics, and if you can just pull back a little and go down a bit on the screen, we'll see the bottom part of the signpost. Also, the focus on women, Kisan, youth, 6 regions and 36 districts. That's what it is over the 288 Vidhan Sabha seats of the state of Maharashtra. The India, INDIA banking on the caste dynamics. BJP is hoping for a knock-on effect from Haryana. So these are some of the important aspects here. But most importantly, it's the number of voters and if they will come out and vote. Interestingly, there is Jharkhand. And if you were to see, if the BJP can swing Maharashtra and Jharkhand in its favor, then the heart of Bharat, right from the western coast to the eastern coast, will be with the BJP. So if you look at the top and the bottom in terms of north and the south, where there will be the opposition in dominance, the heart of Bharat and the maximum number of seats and the base of population, the BJP will claim that they have it under their sway. The problems in the northeast notwithstanding. But Nalin, do you think the voter will come out and vote? Is there confusion there? How do you see Maharashtra?
So I think Maharashtra this time around is a different election from just 3 months ago in the Lok Sabha election, because there, as Rahul said and Aman said, the issue was around the constitution and the emotionalism around the Shiv Sena. There was also a strong counter mobilization in Maharashtra on religious lines. What's happened? First, the stakes in this election are huge because after the dent the BJP got in the Lok Sabha election, it's pulled all of that back with Haryana. So will that continue with Maharashtra? That's the big question, right? So if the BJP goes across the finishing line, or the alliance goes across the finishing line now in Maharashtra, that kind of completes the circle that started with Haryana. The Congress will want to kind of pull oneself back because the Congress has lost momentum after Haryana. So that's why this election is very important. The second thing is that in the Lok Sabha election, the BJP alliance was just a little bit short of the opposition alliance. You know, but the vote share was basically like 43%, 43.7, 43.3%. But they were slightly ahead the opposition alliance, right? So even in that contest, where the BJP lost so many Lok Sabha seats, the vote share was basically almost the same. So, and now the dynamics have changed. So that's why. So this is now 288 different local contests because there's no one theme across these regions.
But is there merit? Let me just throw it out to all of you. Is there merit in this entire vote jihad claim that Devendra Fadnavis made first with us here at CNN News 18 at the town hall, Razaka, if you remember, and then he's continued on that because he says there are 14 states. We've done 14 Lok Sabha seats. We've done the analysis where a combination of 4 or 5 assembly seats and 1 assembly seat, the Muslim voted en masse against the BJP and they consolidated, and that's what he termed as vote jihad. And he said that was the differential. If you were to look in terms of the conversion of Lok Sabha seats, we won 4 out of the 5 assembly seats, 1 assembly seat. Like he spoke about Dhule and he said Malegaon, 1,19,000 votes, all votes voted en masse against the BJP, and we lost Dhule by a margin, even though we won the 4 assembly seats. But now, if you spread the assembly seats, he says we are in a much stronger position. So, your thoughts, Rahul and everyone.
15 Lok Sabha votes hang on which direction the Muslim vote swings.
15 seats, you mean?
15 seats. 15 Lok Sabha seats hang on the Muslim vote. Now, if you look at the numbers, in some of these 15, at least in 12 of these 15 seats, the BJP lost by less than 5 to 10,000 votes. And the Muslim population exceeds that number. So if the MVA starts with an advantage of about 15% in some of these seats, then it's pretty much curtains, at least in these areas for the BJP. That's
but
why.
Here when but Lok Sabha is like a 15 seats. It's a combination of, let's say, about 75 assembly constituencies.
So it comes to a good percentage, you know,
in the individual assembly constituencies.
Of 60 to 70 seats in Maharashtra Assembly will be really decided by the Muslim vote. And this is the problem.
I don't agree. I don't think the numbers bear that out. I think, look, the Muslim vote may have been a factor in 1 or 2 constituencies. I don't think it is 15. 15 is almost a third of the state. I think, in fact, we can look up. One second. We can look up the Muslim seats. 1 second. We can look up the Muslim. So Muslim seats, which are more than 20%, it boils down to about 38 seats. All right, it's not 75 constituencies, so it's not as big a factor. A couple of seats in Vidarbha, a few in northern Maharashtra, a lot of seats in Mumbai. Obviously, as you'd expect, there is a substantial minority population.
You take it at 20. I said 15%.
This is
15%.
This has been the case for the last many elections.
This is the CSDS data.
I think we're misreading.
15%.
I think we're misreading the Lok Sabha election result. It's not just the Muslim vote that moved away, or the Muslim vote. Look, vote jihad has been said for political reasons, for polarization reasons. That is what politicians say. I think what happened in the Lok Sabha election was a combination of the 3 M's. It was Marathas, Muslims, and Mahars. Mahars are the biggest Dalit community. All 3 of them came together. That's how you're able to make substantial changes in a state like Maharashtra. It's a big state, 9 crore. It's the second biggest state after Uttar Pradesh. 38 seats don't determine that. If you look at the Maratha factor, for example, That is substantially higher. It's almost 90 seats. That's a third of the state. Of course, and again, the reason why the Maratha vote is important is because they're concentrated. They're in Marathwada.
But the Marathas don't vote as a bloc, Zaka. They're
well,
also
they did in the Lok Sabha.
No, look
they
at
did 3 months
45
ago.
to 38. I don't know.
This is 2019.
But this is 2019. But if you were to bring out,
but
even if you were to bring out the Lok Sabha projections, the Maratha vote, about 42% of it went to the MVA. The remaining vote was splintered. The problem that the BJP found, please just give me 30 seconds, that the problem that the BJP found was that its OBC and Maratha and Dalit voters, the Mahar voters you're saying, splintered much beyond its own expectations. That was the problem. The Muslim vote, the reason why he posed the question of vote jihad, and we're only talking about why they came out with this sort of diffusing slogan, was because the Muslims have tended this time to vote as a bloc. And especially in Maharashtra, this was observed very clearly. That is the reason why this sort of shrill campaign around
two factors if you might say.
Overstated. In fact, in Bengal, it's reasonable to say, okay, Muslims vote as a bloc, and therefore they are in numbers where they can make a difference. Not in Maharashtra. It won't bear itself out.
Okay, clear on the CSDS data, and what Devendra Fadnavis also came out and said is that in these 14 seats, their numbers showed that if there were 5 assembly constituencies, 4 assembly constituencies, the BJP won. The 5th assembly constituency, because the Muslims dominated that assembly constituency, they voted en masse and the differential was there. That's what the numbers bear themselves out. He said, yes, the other factor would have been that the splintering of votes.
In these 38 seats, once again, in these 38 seats, I'm going by 2019 assembly election results. BJP Shiv Sena had 20 and Congress NCP had only 17. What difference does it make? It doesn't make that much of a difference.
The situation changed this time around. In Lok Sabha is what he's saying. See, the point is, it's not whether it's going to affect them in the assembly, but in the Lok Sabha, that's what he said. Yes,
I think a significant part of the momentum against the BJP in Maharashtra and the Shiv Sena started in October last year with the Maratha agitation, and that was with Manoj Jarange Patil. So that is what led to that was the beginning of the entire discontent. To that you add the Mahar factor. To that you add the counter mobilization and so on. So it was like a bit of a perfect storm against the BJP at that point of time.
Yeah. So the Maratha Mahar splinters and the Muslim vote consolidates.
So what has happened, and then in fact that is one of the reasons why he's now initially announced candidates and now he's withdrawn them, because they don't want the Maratha vote to be splintered against the BJP. What has happened? I think it's a bit analogous to Haryana, where there is a dominant community which the BJP has not lost control of it, or the BJP is not absent in that, but a lot of it is against the BJP, just like the Jats were in Haryana, right? So what the BJP is now doing is gone back to a pre-2014 strategy, which is trying to build a non-Maratha coalition. Right, it's building an OBC coalition, and in that, and you have castes like Malis, Dhankars, Vanjaris, all of that, and the Maratha, and it's also got some totem pole Maratha leaders, so that to give the impression that you also have Marathas on your side. Whereas if you look at the Maratha agitation, they're specifically focused against Fadnavis, right? So there is a whole caste factor in this.
Yeah, the Maratha Brahmin aspect, and that's why.
I'm just quoting Indian Express, and that's where this number of 14 to 15 Lok Sabha seats has come from. Okay. According to the Indian Express's analysis, the Mahayuti alliance, loss in 14 Lok Sabha constituencies arose because of Muslim consolidation against it. Okay. That is the reason why Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis blamed vote jihad for the Mahayuti alliance's loss in these 14 Lok Sabha constituencies. These are exact the words, quote unquote, from there.
So data doesn't lie. The data.
The CSDS Lokniti data.
I go by the data.
This is 2019.
38 seats.
This is about
just 10%.
No, but
this is about swing
2019 to 2024 Lok Sabha, the CSDS Lokniti also bears out some of the claims.
The state doesn't change.
The fact of the matter is
the state is the same. The 288
but the consolidation of the votes and that pattern.
Both Zaka and Rahul Singh has merit in a way that the BJP thinks so. If I saw the RSS campaign like on the ground, the RSS pamphlet said, remember what happened in Dhule. We should not allow a repeat of that to happen. So definitely the BJP thinks so. I think what happened in the Lok Sabha is that there was Muslim consolidation, but along with that, when you had Mahar consolidation and when you had Maratha consolidation, it became a very, very significant
consolidation or splintering away.
Not just that, Anand, even the OBC vote moved away from the BJP because not only were the Marathas angry with BJP because reservation didn't happen, OBCs thought that the BJP was being too soft for the Maratha reservation cause. That is why you see that in this election, from the top stages, be it the Prime Minister, be it Mr. Amit Shah, nobody has spoken about Maratha reservation from any rally because they don't want to offend the OBCs. They want to get the OBCs
No, but the
back.
Maratha reservation of 10% has already been given. So that issue is actually
stayed by the court.
No. The 10% they have allowed. It's the 16% reservation where the Supreme Court has, the stay has come. But the 10% reservation, Fadnavis, recently when he spoke with us, he said the same thing. He said 10% we already given. So from there end his address, he is saying that it's the UBT and it's the Maha Vikas Aghadi who have steered clear from this entire Maratha issue altogether. Even Sharad Pawar has not wanted to say much about it overtly because the claim is that it was under their rule that the Supreme Court stay happened and they couldn't defend the reservation in the Supreme Court.
I want to make a point here on the question of the Muslim factor. See, the fact of the matter is that there is no one overarching issue across the state this time, right? So in such a contest, when you're fighting, when there's no one large issue, you think that the BJP is basically gambling that if you do the polarization gambit, it can pull you across in, perhaps it can pull you across in sharp contest. You only have to see the rhetoric, right? You see the
but you have to understand,
Nalin,
what the slogan is about. The slogan is that one particular flank is going to give your quota to one community. Don't forget what the dog whistle is on the ground. It's not just about consolidating, at whose cost is the vote being consolidated. So the constant refrain from whether it's right or wrong, I'm not getting into the ethics and the morality, is that your quota, your share is going to be given to a particular vote bank by the MVA. That is the reason why the Muslim factor has been over-amplified by the BJP. The idea is to ensure that to ensure that the OBC and the Mahar suddenly say, oh no, we've got another competitor, a community competitor in the mix, and we can't let go of our share to this community competitor. But even if you look at
the Marathas and the Mahars voted for the NVA.
Also is that
I mean,
you're not getting this.
I think somebody needs to give him a cup of coffee. He's had a long night.
Wow. So that is intellectual arrogance.
Settle it there.
Intellectual arrogance.
Really?
I don't know.
See, one of the reasons why the BJP is doubled down on
this is definitely going to make everybody else.
Look, one of the reasons why you have and you have the Prime Minister with a sanitized version of that, which is ek hai to safe hai. One of the reasons is that the BJP was hit by caste divisions in 3 months ago. So the idea is to have Hindu consolidation fundamentally.
Exactly.
But the flip side is also
that's what
some in the BJP also feel that this too much of ek hai to safe and batenge to katenge will also lead to counter consolidation.
The point is the counter consolidation is already
this charge.
The counter consolidation.
If BJP does well, who will get
counter consolidation?
It's already happened.
The counter consolidation has already happened, and the fact is that it's not that there are not sectarian rifts or furqas within the Muslims. If you look at the Ulema Council letters and all of them are also saying that let's not go based on our firqas and let's not be divided because we have to consolidate as a community, as a grouping. That's the messaging there. So the same messaging is going from the BJP saying that the Hindus, because they are far more divided based on caste, based on their groupings, and it's a far bigger divide there. And say unless you consolidate, it's not going to happen. But the larger question is who's going to suffer among these 6 parties? Who's stronger on ground? Do you see a weak link within the Mahayuti and do you see a weak link within the Maha Vikas Aghadi? And how strong is their campaign? Because it's a survival for Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray's party and UBT. It's a survival race. Milind Deora is fighting an Aditya Thackeray in Worli. That itself is a big statement. Eknath Shinde and for them, Shrikant Shinde, that grouping, Ajit Pawar, Parth Pawar, and on the other hand, Supriya Sule, Rohit Pawar. There is a lot at stake at this election, even for the regional Chhatraps, because their own existence will be. And let's not forget, Raj Thackeray, Amit Thackeray, that grouping is fighting 70 seats. against the BJP, against the Maha Vikas Aghadi. So they are all at different levels. I'm going to check if some of our reporters are on ground. Supriya Sule has gone to cast her ballot. That entire voice recording. A day before, from both camps, there is also controversy. If there is Vinod Tawde on the one hand, late in the evening comes this purported audio recording of a conversation that a former IPS officer claims is Supriya Sule speaking to some Bitcoin dealer, Hawala dealer about moving money, etc. And Ajit Pawar this morning says, I know both the voices. So is this all going to affect the voting pattern? This is after campaigning has ended. This is on the nth hour. What is the voter thinking when they go into the ballot box? So the larger question is, did you get a sense that the voter will go out to vote? Okay, we got Mayuresh from Bandra East, Yesha live from Thane, Pallavi live from Baramati, and Payal is in central Nagpur. Morning to everybody. Supriya Sule is speaking. Let's just see what we can hear from him. Let's just go to that.
पोलीस यंत्रणा त्या सगळ्यांचे आभार मानते की त्यांनी खूप तयारी ह्याची केलेली आहे आणि दिवसभरात ते शांततेच्या मार्गाने व्हावं एवढीच विनंती करते आणि प्रत्येक मतदाराला विनंती करते की त्यांनी
She's urging every voter and she's hoping that it's a peaceful polling day. Everybody's worked very hard. Let it all come to a fruition where the voter can come safely and comfortably to the polling booth. And she's asking everybody in Baramati to come out and vote.
प्रश्न मला काल भारतीय जनता पक्षाने केलेत
5 questions they asked me last evening.
उत्तर देते. पहिला प्रश्न त्याचा आरोप आहे नाही माझा एक तर ती ऑडिओ क्लिप मध्ये माझा आवाज नाही.
So first, it's not my voice in the audio clip.
कुठल्याही संबंधात नाही आणि
I have got no connection with these people.
त्रिवेदींनी अशी मला सांगितलंय की सुप्रिया सुळेंनी बाहेर येऊन यावं. मी काल रात्रीच बाहेर आले आणि आज तुमच्या माध्यमातून अतिशय विनम्रपणे मी त्रिवेदीजींना विनंती करते की ते म्हणेल ती जागा, ते म्हणेल ते चॅनल, ते म्हणतील तो कॅमेरा, ते म्हणतील ते शहर, तिथे मी येऊन मन मोकळेपणे ते स्वतः किंवा त्यांच्या पक्षाचा कुठल्याही व्यक्ती.
So she's like, you name the place, you name the channel, you name the reporter. I am happy to sit down and debate and answer every question that you have to ask, and perhaps somewhere indicating towards what Ajit Pawar had to say in the morning.
हा, रवींद्र पाटील एक IPS ऑफिसर आहे आणि तुमच्याच सगळ्यांच्या चॅनलवर असं सांगण्यात आलं की 2 वर्ष ते जेलमध्ये राहून आले. बरोबर, 2 वर्ष ते ग्रहस्थ जेलमध्ये राहून आलेले. त्यांनी काही माझ्यावर आरोप केलेले आहेत. एक खोटी.
So an IPS officer who spent 2 years in jail and just come out, are you going to give credibility to the allegation and claims that he is making?
कॉपी मिळाली आहे का? हा, तर काल संध्याकाळी माझ्याकडे जेव्हा ती क्लिप मीडियाच्या माध्यमातून आली, मी त्याचं एक कंप्लेंट ही सायबर क्राईमला केली.
I have already filed a cyber crime complaint after last evening via the media channels itself. A purported audio clip claiming to be mine and my conversation has out. I have already claimed I have filed a complaint.
पुण्याचे कमिशनर ऑफ पोलीस आहेत, त्यांना मी फोन केला, 2 वेळा फोन केला. दोन्ही वेळा आमचं बोलणं झालं. मी त्यांना काय प्रॉब्लेम हे सांगितलेलं आहे. मी त्यांना एवढीच
So I have called the Pune commissioner
माझा आवाज कोणीतरी काढून हे करते, मला न्याय मिळावा.
and she said that I have spoken with him twice and I have urged him to give me justice and speedy justice. A complaint has been also filed on my behalf, alleging that this is a purported audio deliberately aiming to defame me. It's not me, it's not my voice.
गोष्टींवर पार्लमेंटमध्ये सगळ्यात जास्त विरोधात कोण बोललं असेल तर ते मी बोलले.
So I'm being deliberately targeted because I was perhaps the most vocal voice in parliament against the government, against the center. Try and understand this entire chronology.
फेक माझ्या बद्दलची फेक बातमी आली. ती बातमी आल्या मी क्रोनॉलॉजी सांगते तुम्हाला. काल संध्याकाळी माझ्याकडे ती फेक बातमी आली. मी फेक बातमी आल्या लगेच मी पोलीस कमिशनरला फोन केला.
Last evening, this purported fake audio of mine came. She's explaining the chronology. Soon after that, I have immediately filed a complaint.
त्यानंतर तुमचे सगळ्यांचे फोन आले, त्याच्याशी मी बोलले.
After that, all of you called. I have responded. About 11 p.m. last night.
पक्षाने दिल्लीला एक प्रेस कॉन्फरन्स घेतली.
BJP does a press conference late evening.
5 प्रश्नासाठी
asking me 5 questions.
ते म्हणतील ते चॅनल, ते म्हणतील तो प्लॅटफॉर्म.
And I am willing. Wherever you want me to come, whichever platform, whichever place, I am willing to come and answer each of your 5 questions.
कारण काय हे हास्यास्पद आहे हे सगळे आरोप.
It is a laughable matter, all these allegations against me.
माझ्या वकिलांना रात्री फोन केला.
And after all of that, I have called my lawyers.
डेफमेशनची नोटीस ही त्यांना पाठवली.
To send a criminal defamation notice to the BJP.
मतदानाच्या आदल्या दिवशी टायमिंग कसं काय?
हा बघा तुमच्या प्रश्नातच माझं उत्तर आहे. एक
So she's like, the question is, what do you think about the timings? She says, your question has my answer.
आवाज आहे आणि बिटकॉइन क्रिप्टो ह्याच्या सगळ्यात जास्त विरोधात मी पार्लमेंटमध्ये बोलले. मी त्या
I have been the most vocal against Bitcoin and crypto. And and they are making allegations that I myself am dealing in them.
रोहित पवारांचे पण बरेचसे समोर
Now, the question on Ajit Pawar being asked at this point, Mayuresh is joining us from Bandra, Yesha is with us, Pallavi and Payal also with us. Mayuresh, will this have an effect, knock-on effect on ground? Because Ajit Pawar this morning said, I know both the voices and it sounds like my sister.
I don't think so that it will have that much effect, especially if we talk about the Baramati constituency, because whenever we roamed in Baramati constituency, the division was very much clear that for center it was always Supriya Sule, and people of Baramati have always posed their trust for the state Ajit Pawar. But now it will be interesting to see the way Ajit Pawar has held this campaign, and this time kind of a split in his own family, where his own very own nephew is contesting against him. So there people are talking more, even in Lok Sabha also, Anand, when I was personally had gone there, people are more talking about the issues, people are more talking about the water issues, people are more talking about the industries have not come except Baramati in other areas. So certainly these issues are basically their main concern. Apart from this, what is right now happening, and Supriya Sule has made it clear that it is not her voice, and she has already filed a complaint. So people do trust Supriya Sule and Ajit Pawar, the entire family they do trust. So it would be interesting to see whom they select this time. Earlier they have already selected Supriya Sule.
Right. I'm just going to say a small correction at the bottom of our screen where Supriya Sule says, I was asked 5 questions by the BJP. And she's not asked 5 questions. She says those 5 questions, any platform, any place, I am ready to answer those questions. And she's also said that I'm somebody who's been most vocal against Bitcoin and crypto, and they're alleging that I'm dealing in the same. But Bandra East, Mayuresh, quickly coming back to you before we go across to Payal and Nagpur and Thane. Yesha is joining us from there. Are the voters coming out to vote? Will Mumbaikars come out to vote? Because Mumbaikars crib a lot, but they don't come out to vote. Overall voting percentage in Mumbai is far below the Maharashtra average.
Exactly, and Mumbai has always disappointed the entire nation when it comes to voting. But I'll show you the visuals outside here, and you can see most of them are senior citizens who are here. And we are here since 6:30, and people started pouring in, or people started coming in at 6:45. And most of them were senior citizens. We asked them that why you came early here. So they said that it is our responsibility, and we are urging especially the young crowd, the young people, to come in large number and perform their duty. Unless you cast your vote, you have no right to crib about or to complain about it. So you can see in the visuals also, this is Sahitya Sarvas. You know the area better, Anand, where exactly I'm standing. So people over here as a kind of they are from the literature background, they are from the art background, and all of them have come here to cast their vote, and we are expecting that this line will remain there. Or the
Matosri is also not so far away from where you are currently standing, and not so long ago I used to live quite close by. In fact, I have even voted at that very place where this is.
Fight. Zishan Siddiqui is standing, and this has happened a few weeks after his father got killed. So Zishan Siddiqui versus Varun Sardesai.
Varun Sardesai, and both sides will have a certain level of legacy behind them. But in this case, this time around, we have to see how, which way the voter swings. But Bandra East voters are early risers, and they come out and vote. Those who come out and vote, the rest, well, we have to pull them out of their comfort areas. Payal Mehta is in Nagpur. What's happening? There is a lot that hinges around Nagpur at multiple levels, because Devendra Fadnavis is contesting from there. Nitin Gadkari ka gad kaha jata hai, RSS ka gad kaha jata hai, and then of course the entire voter base itself is quite diffused. What's the situation, Payal? You've spoken to a lot of leaders. You've travelled extensively across Maharashtra.
Well, of course, this is a booth which is a stone's throw away from the RSS headquarters. This was this very booth where Mohan Bhagwat, came in sharp at 6:50, voted, was one of the first voters to have cast his vote. You can see people coming in. A lot of people are coming in to vote as well, because remember, a huge responsibility this time around, Anand, on the election also lies on how effectively the RSS workers are able to bring people to the polling booth on ground. That's effectively been what has been their strength as well. Because remember that the RSS workers actually worked around their magic in the Haryana election, and there is no reason for the BJP, especially Devendra Fadnavis, to believe, who's a big stakeholder from this region, to believe that they can repeat the magic in Maharashtra as well. Because the buck stopped with Devendra Fadnavis when it comes to this election as well. आप मुझे बताइए, you tell me, what are the issues that Nagpur is really voting for this time?
इश्यूज तो बहुत है एंड इट कंटिन्यूअसली गोइंग ऑन, हम बोल सकते हैं, बट हम चाहते हैं कि यहाँ पे एक स्टेबल प्रतिनिधित्व रहे, और आज मैं अपने हक का यहाँ पे वो स्टेबल प्रतिनिधित्व को चुनने के लिए मैंने अपना वोट कास्ट किया हुआ है, आप देख सकते हो। एंड आई एम पॉजिटिवली लुकिंग आफ्टर के फ्यूचर में जो भी आने वाला 5 साल रहेगा सेंट्रल नागपुर के लिए, महाराष्ट्र के लिए और अपने देश के लिए कहीं ना कहीं ये हम बोल सकते हैं कि
this huge argument that you've seen in the narrative whether it's going to be vote jihad versus dharma yuddha, do you think it's going to cut ice with the people?
Actually it is, but it keeps on going. It again depends upon the parties also, because they need to focus on that parameter only, but we need to focus on कि individual जब भी वोट दे रहा है तो they have their own sense of belongingness and they are basically focusing on कि उनके जो भी problems है, whatever the problems they are coming up with in coming future, they need to be addressed and solved in a time.
Well, of course, we'll try and get in a couple of more voices, because a lot of senior citizens, Anand, are coming here as to come out and really vote. We'll try and wait for them to actually come out and vote. But like I said, this is where the RSS belongs to. This is their headquarters. Mohan Bhagwat sent a very strong statement by saying that no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, it is your responsibility to come out and vote.
Good to see.
He in fact cited his personal example, saying that he was in Uttaranchal yesterday, just came back to cast his vote, and so did the other RSS office bearers.
Well, let's hope that everybody does this, goes ahead and also go ahead and dispenses of their responsibility, and very responsibly they do go out and vote. Maharashtra must vote. We'll talk about Jharkhand also in a bit.
Is very critical. Is very, very critical for the fortunes of both sides. It's also got the largest number of one-on-one contests between Congress, BJP. And if you really look at the map of Maharashtra, I've had my coffee, but I must tell you, if you look at the map of Maharashtra, the 5 other regions pretty much will vote according to party affiliations, and they're pretty much split down the middle except for a couple. But Vidarbha is the unknown quantity. That's where the BJP really lost the election in 2024. So the BJP will be hoping that all the farmer distress, all the SOPs that they've given really hit home.
See, they promised
actually the flip region.
I'll give you context. In 2014, the BJP won 44 of the seats in Vidarbha out of 62. In 2019, that number went down to 29. Right? Okay. And in the 2024 Lok Sabha election, the major reason why the BJP's number went down was because of advances by NCP, Sharad Pawar, and the Congress in Vidarbha and Marathwada.
In Vidarbha and Marathwada.
So that's why Vidarbha is fundamentally crucial.
Vidarbha has 62 seats, Anand, and out of the 10 Lok Sabha seats in Vidarbha, BJP could win just 2 in the Lok Sabha. That was the major reason. If the BJP has to win Maharashtra, Vidarbha needs to flip for the BJP, because Vidarbha is a region, 62 seats, as Rahul was saying, 36 seats. There is direct contest between the BJP and the Congress. There are 2 major issues in Vidarbha. Number 1, of course, farmer distress, cotton, soybean farmers. Number 2, the Mahar vote is in big numbers in Vidarbha. So these 2 issues need to flip, and it is a big challenge for the BJP. All their top leaders come from Vidarbha. Devendra Fadnavis.
I'll come back. We'll come back to Vidarbha, but just quickly going across to Yesha, who's been waiting for a while. Yesha, you're in Thane. Now, this entire Thane district, again, Eknath Shinde would want to come out and show Thane, Mumbai, that region is very, very critical for the Shiv Sena led by Eknath Shinde. What is the mood on ground? And will what happened with Vinod Taude in the Vasai Virar region, will that have an impact?
So Anand, I'll show you the mood of what it looks like here at Thane. It is a slow start at all the 18 Vidhan Sabha constituencies that come into the Thane area. But here, of course, we've seen an early morning start, but a slow start. Particularly at Pink Booth, we saw how the first few voters were given a small plant as a gesture of coming in and being among the first people to have casted their vote. But apart from that, it's a slow start. We'd expect the Chief Minister to be coming in here in the next half an hour or an hour from now. And of course, discussing about what happened with Taude earlier, we in fact heard how even Mayuri spoke about this. So yes, there have been several allegations, counter allegation comes to cash for vote, but whether coming into the voters is something that's a little skeptical about this, because when you speak of these charges, they were still under investigation until late last night. Cops said they would take a couple of days to understand whether these allegations were actually true or not. So that would not really be playing on the minds of voters, because as of now those were just allegations. And usually we've seen that even during Lok Sabha elections, for several of such candidates in Mumbai itself, there were allegations that were leveled just 1 or 2 days before people could in fact vote. So
Right.
these kind of tactics are usually played out by both the parties a day or two before people actually
Right,
cast
so
their
you're
vote.
saying that the
Yes,
voters are wise to all of this. Interestingly, Vinod Tawde said that the Thakur brothers or the Kshitij Thakur himself dropped him later on after making all this ruckus and hangama. He says they only dropped me to wherever I was. So all these allegations are baseless. Daniel Francis with us. Daniel Francis, let's circle back. Morning. We were having a conversation in the studio about Vidarbh and Marathwada. These are two critical areas, and they also carry a huge bulk of the seat share with respect to sending MLAs to the Vidhan Sabha. How critical is this time around? Between June and November, do you think there is a change? And where do you see the direct fight spanning out between the Congress and the BJP? That is again a dominance ki ladai, because the Congress will have bragging rights if they steal a march on the BJP. The BJP will turn around and say the Congress has been decimated by us again.
Yeah, means both these regions, Marathwada and Vidarbha, are critical for government formation, and particularly for the numbers of the BJP. If the BJP has to do well, it has to do well, particularly in Vidarbha, which has been a stronghold shared by Congress and the BJP. During the Lok Sabha, the BJP was decimated in Vidarbha, in Marathwada also, and the Congress performed really well. If you talk to Congress leaders, they think that they will repeat the performance, a marginal improvement for the BJP in both these regions. And if you talk about the overall mood from what it was not just Samvidhan Bachao or 400 Par in Vidarbha and Marathwada. It was Marathas versus BJP. It was also soybean. It was
Yes.
cotton, Kundis, and a lot of other factors that went against the BJP. This, and also a collapse of the BJP leadership in Marathwada and in OBCs in Marathwada and in Kundis in Vidarbha. So
Right.
I really feel that there'll be a marginal improvement as I hear, but no much improvement for the BJP there. And will bring down BJP.
If there is not going to be much improvement for the BJP, then they have serious worries. Then to get up to 145, 150 for the BJP is not going to be easy. And then the MVA should be looking at things. As of now, they say that the Mahayuti has played some amount of catch-up in the last 4 or 5 months to the MVA, who had stolen a march during the Lok Sabha elections. Is it 50-50, or does someone still have the edge? The Maratha, Vidarbha conundrum for the Mahayuti. Which are the strong areas and must-win regions for the Maha Vikas Aghadi? On the wall with our guests, the conversations, even as we urge the voters to come out for a vote, come out and vote in Maharashtra. Plus, we'll also talk Jharkhand very, very soon. Stay with us in our continuous coverage here this Wednesday morning on polling day. Back after a very short break.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network. The next Indian icons, beating everyone on the globe. B6
is extremely important as far as the BJP is really concerned. The Jan Sangh is, what they date back to, and we've seen what they were able to do, in Haryana. So even if sources are to be believed, over here in Maharashtra, they're working overtime. Their basic agenda, Sharon, is to in fact encourage people to go out and vote. That last ditch effort campaigning has shut about 24 to 48 hours ago, but the last bit of effort to in fact take people, to the polling booth, that's exactly what the RSS specializes in. And the workers have been working overtime. I'm given to understand that they're working in not just the constituency of the BJP is very strong, but also the constituencies where the Mahayuti is in fact contesting as well. So that's something which is going to be important to see. We'll see Mohan Bhagat stepping out in a bit from now, and he'll probably be giving us a soundbite as well. But a very, very crucial election as far as Vidarbha on the whole is really concerned, given the fact that Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis is contesting from Nagpur south west seat as well. So that's something which is going to be very important to watch out for. We're just keeping our cameras waiting for Mr. Mohan Bhagat to step out, and he's of course accompanied by the other RSS office bearers as well. Any moment from now, Sharon, he should be out, and it'll be important to see what his message really to the people of the country is, people of Maharashtra is concerned. And let's just see what message he gives to people of Maharashtra in terms of their importance to cast this particular vote, and whether he makes any other statement as well. That remains to be seen.
Absolutely, Payal. In fact, please stay with us. We'll keep coming back to you as and when Mohan Bhagwat will cast his vote and will come out. Let me now directly go across to Pallavi, who is in fact reporting from Baramati. Pallavi, Baramati is once again seeing Pawar versus Pawar in Lok Sabha election. Supriya Sule won that seat. What have been your observation in Baramati? Which side is the pendulum going to swing?
Well, first of all, Baramati, as we all know, is a bastion of Sharad Pawar, and it was a hard-fought election which took place during Lok Sabha, where Ajit Pawar's wife Sunita took on Supriya Sule, and of course she won. Well, over here, the Pawar versus Pawar factor pretty much plays out on the ground, but no one is going to talk about it openly. But many people do indicate that what works in the Lok Sabha may be very different as far as the assembly is concerned. In many more ways than one, it is a prestige battle really for Mr. Sharad Pawar himself. As we know, he's almost the fulcrum of the MVA. Both the Congress as well as the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena are depending a lot on his good performance. And should they be, and there's a big if about it, a hung assembly, then they are depending on Mr. Sharad Pawar's and his acumen, his maturity, and the fact that he has good equations across political spectrums to be able to swing the fortunes in favor of the MVA. But interestingly, in a late night development, there were huge allegations which were made by the BJP against
Back on, ladies and gentlemen, lots of reactions coming through. We'll play that out in a bit. We're going to be here for a while, taking you through polling day in Maharashtra and also the second phase in Jharkhand. 288 seats in the Maharashtra Vidhan Sabha, 81 seats in the Jharkhand Vidhan Sabha. Let's focus on the two big regions, Vidarbha and Marathwada. How critical is it? How did they perform in 2019? Compare that with the performance in 2024 Lok Sabha. What matters to both sides? Zaka.
So Vidarbha is the biggest region, has 62 seats. This is where it's a direct fight between the BJP and the Congress. Out of those 62 seats, let's take a look at how it played out last time around. The BJP United Shiv Sena alliance got 33 at 40% vote share. The Congress NCP only 22. There were 11 seats behind and about 6% behind in vote share. But if you look at the direct contest between BJP and Congress in Vidarbha, almost half of it, 35 out of 62 are direct contests. Last time around, the BJP Shiv Sena had 19 of those. The Congress had only 12. The vote share difference, though, was 2%. As Rahul was saying, in an election where 1% can make the difference between who gets majority and who doesn't, a 2% vote share in direct fights is hugely important. But this was in 2019. If you were to extend the same thing in terms of Lok Sabha leads that the Congress got, remember 8 out of the 13 MPs that the Congress had in 2024 were from Vidarbha. If you look at the Congress leads, the Congress's number would have gone up to 18. So 18 from 12, so that's a 6-seat gain for the Congress. The BJP would have gone down to 7. So the point is that if it exactly translates from how it was in Lok Sabha, which it will not, and we shouldn't be saying this after what we saw in Haryana, because Haryana was the direct opposite of what happened in the Lok Sabha. But if it does translate, then the Congress will win a bulk of these direct fights. But like I said, two elections are completely
Marathwada?
Let's look at Marathwada as well. Marathwada, again, 46 seats, I think, 46, almost 50 seats in that region. Yeah, 46 seats. The BJP Shiv Sena last time had 30, almost 30 seats at 42% vote share. There's a 6% vote share difference between the Congress NCP alliance and the BJP United Shiv Sena alliance. If you look at the Congress or the NCP's leads in 2024 in the Marathwada region, it would have gone up to 14. So they had 12 last time, they would have got 2 seats more. The BJP would have come down to 8. Now, one critical factor in Marathwada, maybe to a lesser extent in Vidarbha, is the Shiv Sena, the United Shiv Sena, the Maratha vote. The Shiv Sena is primarily a Mumbai, Thane, Konkan party, but the Marathas, significant chunks of Marathas vote for the Shiv Sena, the United Shiv Sena. This time around, there's also the factor of the Shiv Sena versus the Shiv Sena. It's not just Congress, BJP direct fights, but the Sena versus Sena UBT, because ultimately I believe this is a fight for survival for both the Sena and the NCP. There are 51 seats where there are direct fights between Sena UBT and Shinde Sena candidates. Of these 51, and look at this, 45 of those 51 last time were won by the BJP Shiv Sena combined. Again, I think this is also going to determine which,
So
not
those-
just the result, but also the
So these
the legacy.
51 seats where there's a direct fight, these are legacy fights, because Eknath Shinde claims that the entire Shiv Sena core vote of about 19% voted for Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena in the Lok Sabha, and it was actually the Congress NCP votes that helped Uddhav Thackeray in Mumbai. That was the allegation, that it was the Muslim vote again consolidating along with some of the core Congress and NCP votes, Sharad Pawar votes. This time around, what do you see happening?
See, Anand, this situation changed completely in the Lok Sabha. 6 months ago, see what happened. There are 10 seats, Lok Sabha seats in Vidarbha, 9 seats in Marathwada. BJP could win just 2 in Vidarbha. Marathwada was a complete wipeout for the BJP. Only 1 seat the alliance could win. That was also Shiv Sena Shinde winning the Aurangabad seat. So out of 19 Lok Sabha seats in these 2 regions, the NDA, the Mahayuti, could just win 3. So that was the reason for the big drop in the performance. This time, now there are 62 plus 46, 108 seats at stake in Marathwada and Vidarbha.
Right.
BJP is hoping that it will make a comeback in the Vidarbha region, primarily due to 2 reasons. Number one, the relief it has given to the cotton and the soybean farmers in Vidarbha, which was a big issue last time. They have promised above MSP procurement, and that in a way should soften the blow when it comes. Farmers are still upset with the BJP, but not that upset as they were in the Lok Sabha. The second thing I feel what will happen in Marathwada is that the Eknath Shinde has this huge, maybe you could say, goodwill in that area. I went to Marathwada. All I could see is just Shinde posters. This is one region where I saw less Fadnavis posters and more Shinde posters. BJP is banking totally on Mr. Eknath Shinde to get it something back in Marathwada, maybe 3 seats to get back in at least 2 to 3 Lok Sabha seats, accordingly about 15 to 20 assembly seats if BJP can win Marathwada. The other, I think the big factor which could swing in Marathwada and Vidarbha is the women's scheme. Now, I will cite you 2 anecdotes. I went to the cotton belt.
We'll talk about
Yeah,
Ladki
okay.
Behan one
But
by
on
one,
this
because
Vidarbha
that's a huge conversation
So
point
on
in
Vidarbha
itself.
issue,
Yeah.
the BJP was able to break the Congress hegemony by breaking the Congress's key vote. Now, the Congress's key vote used to be Dalit, Muslim, and Kunbi, the DMK formulation. The BJP managed to make inroads into Dalit and Kunbi votes. Can it continue to hold on? Because in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, these voters moved away. The Muslims stayed with the Congress, but these voters moved away, which meant that there was a problem. Now, remember, we constantly talk about overemphasizing, this Muslim factor, etc. But in Maharashtra, across the state, Muslims are 11.5%. The Dalits are 14%. There's nothing much between them. Okay, the DM consolidation has to happen, and that's the reason why the MVA will hope that the Muslim vote gives them that 14%, in totality, in a large number of seats, where it can start with that advantage. The BJP and, of course, the Mahayuti will hope that the counter consolidation of Hindu votes happens and jeopardizes this enterprise.
And a lot of those who splintered in June 2024, they actually come back.
That's right.
Anand,
That's exactly
Anand,
what the point
to
is.
come back to the Marathwada and Vidarbha point. See, I just want to take a step back from this debate and look at the larger picture of Maratha politics historically.
Right.
See, since 1960, or since the rise of the BJP and Shiv Sena in Maharashtra from the early 80s, late 80s onwards, the Shiv Sena was always a dominant partner, right? All that changed from from 2014 onwards. Up till 2014, from about 1992 onwards, the Shiv Sena always had roughly 4 to 5% vote share more than the BJP. So BJP was always the junior partner. Now, what has happened is that when 2014, which was largely because of Amit Shah and Narendra Modi's strategy, that when BJP became the dominant partner, that's the first time it became, it won more seats than Shiv Sena. That was fundamentally possible because of the inroad BJP made into Marathwada and Vidarbha. So it's not just in now. For the last 10 years, this region has been important to the BJP's dominance. So the BJP is now positioning itself as the preeminent Hindutva party in Maharashtra, as opposed to the earlier pattern where Shiv Sena was the Hindutva party and BJP was like the tag-along party. So therefore, and this is where the Congress made a comeback. This is where the NCP, Sharad Pawar made a comeback in the 3 months ago. And that's why the BJP is... See, if you look at the last 2 elections, 108 seats in Marathwada and Vidarbha, the BJP won 59 of these in 2014 and 55 of these in 2019. So basically around half.
Correct.
So this is where the election is going to be won and fought this time.
So this 50% conversion for the Mahayuti is critical. Devendra Fadnavis, while speaking with us at CNN News 18, said that the issue of kapas and also soybean was addressed. Soybean, the moisture content was 18%. As soon as the soybean was dried, it was all bought back, and the farmers are not so distressed now because 12% moisture is when you get the MSP. The manifesto promises 6,000 rupees, but Maha Vikas Aghadi has countered that with saying we'll give you 7,000 rupees. Now, will that make a difference on ground, or the fact that the money has already come, a certain amount of money for cotton and soybean, previous installment, previous crop has already come? Plus the Ladki Bahan Yojana. We have not spoken about the woman voter and this big Yojana where there seems to be confusion what position to take with respect to the Maha Vikas Aghadi. It's polling day. We'll talk about all that's played out in the campaign and the run-up to this big day, ladies and gentlemen. But most importantly, as we take yet another break, please get up, go out and vote, and then come back and watch us.
And I'm joined by a battery of reporters from Maharashtra who are in fact reporting on ground. Mayuresh is in fact reporting from Bandra East, tracking the Thackeray family. Payal is in fact reporting from central Nagpur, tracking RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat. Yesha from Thane, tracking Eknath Shinde. And Pallavi from Baramati, tracking Sharad Pawar. Now let me go first across to Payal, who's in fact reporting from central Nagpur, tracking Mohan Bhagwat. Payal, tell us what time is Mohan Bhagwat supposed to arrive there, and also given the fact that in Haryana we have seen how RSS played a very crucial role. What are you observing when it comes to Maharashtra, the role of RSS in the Maharashtra elections?
Well, to begin with, Mohan Bhagwat, the RSS chief, is already in the polling booth. He should be out within the next couple of minutes after having cast his vote. Remember, he came here at least 10 minutes before the voting really began, because, you know, this is where the RSS headquarters really is. And this is a very, very important center as far as the BJP is really concerned, because, you know, both, whether it's Devendra Fadnavis or whether it's Nitin Gadkari, both son of the soil, or their allegiance to the RSS, and of course have been part of the RSS from their very, very childhood as well. So the RSS contribution is extremely important as far as the BJP is really concerned. The Jan Sangh is, you know, what they date back to. And we've seen what they were able to do, you know, in Haryana. So even if sources are to be believed over here in Maharashtra, they're working overtime. Their basic agenda, you know, Sharon, is to in fact encourage people to go out and vote. That last ditch effort to, I mean, campaigning has shut about 24 to 48 hours ago, but the last bit of effort to in fact take people, you know, to the polling booth, that's exactly what the RSS specializes in. And, you know, the workers have been working overtime. I'm given to understand that they're working in not just the constituency of the BJP is very strong, but also the constituencies where the Mahayuti is in fact, you know, contesting as well. So that's something which is going to be important to see. We'll see Mohan Bhagwat stepping out in a bit from now, and he'll probably be giving us a soundbite as well. But a very, very crucial election as far as Vidarbha on the whole is really concerned, given the fact that Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis is contesting from Nagpur south-west seat as well. So that's something which is going to be very important to watch out for. We're just keeping our cameras waiting for Mr. Mohan Bhagwat to step out, and he's of course accompanied by the other RSS you know, office bearers as well. Any moment from now, Sharon, he should be out, and it'll be important to see what his message really to the people of the country is, people of Maharashtra is concerned. And let's just see what message he gives to people of Maharashtra in terms of their importance to cast this particular vote, and whether he makes any other statement as well, that remains to be seen.
Absolutely, Payal. In fact, please stay with us. We'll keep coming back to you as and when Mohan Bhagwat will cast his vote and will come out. Let me now directly go across to Pallavi, who is in fact reporting from Baramati. Pallavi, Baramati is once again seeing Pawar versus Pawar in Lok Sabha election. Supriya Sule won that seat. What have been your observation in Baramati? Which side is the pendulum going to swing?
Well, first of all, Baramati, as we all know, is a bastion of Sharad Pawar, and it was a hard-fought election which took place during Lok Sabha, where Ajit Pawar's wife Sunita took on Supriya Sule, and of course she won. Well, over here, the Pawar versus Pawar factor pretty much plays out on the ground, but no one is going to talk about it openly. But many people do indicate that what works in the Lok Sabha may be very different as far as the assembly is concerned. In many more ways than one, it is a prestige battle really for Mr. Sharad Pawar himself. As we know, he's almost the fulcrum of the MVA. Both the Congress as well as the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena are depending a lot on his good performance. And should there be, and there's a big if about it, a hung assembly, then they are depending on Mr. Sharad Pawar's and his acumen, his maturity, and the fact that he has good equations across political spectrums to be able to swing the fortunes in favor of the MVA. But interestingly, in a late night development, there were huge allegations which were made by the BJP against Supriya Sule, and she of course rebutted it. She should be here at around 8 a.m. we are told to cast her vote over here. She's accused the BJP of dirty politics.
आपको जलाने आया हूं, आपके लिए मैं लड़ने के लिए मैदान में आया हूं।
हर परिवार को सालाना करीब 3 लाख रुपए का सहयोग मिले। हर महिला को 3,000 रुपए प्रति माह मिले।
हम एक रहेंगे तो सेफ रहेंगे।
Good early morning, ladies and gentlemen. The coverage continues in the battle for the states. I'm Anand Narasimhan. Ladies and gentlemen, 288 seats in the Vidhan Sabha of Maharashtra will be going to the ballot today. The voters have to go out and vote. More than 9 crore voters have the right to exercise. It's their fundamental duty to go out and vote and decide the fate of the state over the next 5 years. Not that what you do and what happens soon after you vote, and when the ballot is cast and the results are out, things cannot change. There are many people on ground who believe that that should not be allowed to. जो विधायक जिस पार्टी से चुन के आया है, अगर पार्टी छोड़ता है तो वापस जाए वोटर के पास और फिर से चुन के आए. Many voters have said that, but that doesn't change the fact that you must go out and vote, ladies and gentlemen. Maharashtra goes to the polls. The second phase of polling in Jharkhand, 81 seats. The ruling Mahayuti alliance in Maharashtra featuring BJP, Ajit Pawar's NCP faction, and of course, Shiv Sena, Dhanush Ban with Eknath Shinde faces off against the opposition, Maha Vikas Aghadi, coalition of Congress, Sharad Pawar's NCP. He's playing the emotion card. Ye aakhri election hai mera. Help me, back me, will that work? Uddhav Thackeray, legacy issue, survival issue, and also relevance issue. Will they be wiped out? 51 seats where the Shiv Sena are at loggerheads with each other, the Dhanush Ban versus the Mashal. But let's look at some of the X factors quickly, ladies and gentlemen. The X factors in Maharashtra, one of the biggest aspects is the doles. Many will call it freebies, others would call it welfare schemes, smartly thought of. The women-centric schemes called the Ladki Behna, announced by both, but the Ladki Behan seems to be a game changer. That's what the Mahayuti believes for them, because there are many, many women talking about it and happy about it. The dole out a promise to youth, farmers, and of course, assurance of MSP on soya bean, kapas, and some of the other produce, jobs, skills, and of course, more investments coming through, those promises. There is also the loyalty test. There is factionalism, which is also an important aspect, because there is the loyalty test for both Ajit Pawar and Eknath Shinde, and of course, Uddhav Thackeray also. Relevance for Supriya Sule, Rohit Pawar, Sharad Pawar. Big question, the next generation within the Pawars, the next generation within the Thackerays who will carry forward the legacy. There is the real engine of Raj Thackeray in 70 seats active. What will they do? We have to wait and watch. NDA believes their Neta have been wronged. Will this entire infrastructure boost, will that resonate on ground? Big ticket projects, opposition putting projects of focus on the projects being shifted out of Maharashtra and those that have gone to Gujarat. These questions have been asked of multiple leaders and they will all put forth their point. But what is going on in the mind of the voter? No mention of the word Maratha or Maratha quota in either manifesto, although the ruling NDA claims they have already given the 10% there. The bid to consolidate OBCs, Dalits to counter the MVA. All of this, these caste combinations, the regional combinations, the various regions that get active over these 288 seats in Maharashtra, all of this will contribute towards the eventual victor, ladies and gentlemen. Supriya Sule, after casting her vote in Baramati, has spoken with Pallavi Ghosh.
The timing is something you've been talking about. 5 questions thrown at you by the BJP. Your response to the BJP on this?
I'm very happy to answer them. I'm more than happy, because I'm somebody who believes in complete transparency and I live by the Constitution of India. So I'm very happy to answer any question that the BJP asks me.
Gaurav Mehta is someone they're linking you to. Nana Patole they're linking you to. All of this happened a couple of hours before polling began in Maharashtra. Do you know Gaurav Mehta? You, I remember, correctly said just now that on Bitcoin, you have been very vociferous inside the parliament.
I've spoken against Bitcoins. Yes. I've spoken against cryptocurrency. I'm somebody who has raised very serious issues about all this. So when I have raised, I'm spoken against something. And I'm with full humility, honesty and transparency, and my commitment to the Constitution of India. All the 5 questions, I'm happy to reply to them. A place of their choice, a time of their choice, and a platform of the BJP.
Ajit Pawarji, your own relative, of course, in the family, insists that it's your voice, it's not AI. Your rebuttal to him and a criminal defamation against him as well?
I'm first making a criminal defamation case against Mr. Trivedi, who's done 2 things I've done. First, I've lodged a cyber crime complaint. I've spoken to the Pune commissioner. I have told him, and I requested him when I spoke to him. I told him what had happened, and he has assured me a fair trial, and I've lodged a cyber complaint. That's one. And second, I've sent a defamation notice to Mr. Trivedi.
What would you want to say to Mr. Ajit
I'm
Pawar?
going to first hear what Mr. Ajit Pawar had said, but he's Ajit Pawar. So Ram Krishna Hari, he can say anything.
He is Ajit Pawar, Ram Krishna Hari, he can say anything with a smile. Pallavi Ghosh, what does that imply? Because Ajit Pawar rules Baramati when it comes to Vidhan Sabha. The Baramati had always had a logic. If it is Vidhan Sabha, it is Ajit Pawar. If it is Lok Sabha, it is Supriya Sule. What's going to be the impact of this controversy, nth hour, these voices, and Ajit Pawar saying, मैं दोनों आवाजें पहचानता हूं और दोनों उन्हीं की हैं. It's not AI. Pallavi.
I'm going to just quickly give you a recap of what really is happening on the ground. You can see Mr. Sharad Pawar right over here, just little away from where Supriya Sule cast her vote. He's just, of course, speaking to the media, and I hope to catch a bit of that. But essentially, this is Sharad Pawar, who's just given his vote over here at Maregaon, Baravati. And apart from that, well, just to go back to the Supriya Sule factor, we know that this is the bastion or the turf or the ilaka of Sharad Pawar and the Pawars, as it's called. In the Lok Sabha elections, it was a huge aggressive battle which took place between Supriya Sule and, of course, Ajit Pawar's wife. And at that point of time, Sharad Pawar was out and about. I mean, he had to ensure that this prestigious battle is won by his daughter. Similarly, this is also a prestige battle now for the turf of the NCP, for Sharad Pawar to prove his mettle and also to show that he very much resonates on the ground as far as the Maharashtra politics goes. Some within the MVA, particularly the Congress party, look at him as a possible kingmaker in case it's a hung assembly. But as far as these allegations against Supriya Sule and Nana Patole is concerned, well, the MVA's rebuttal to it is with the kind of controversy which was there around Vinod Tavade. The timing is being questioned by both the sides. Will that resonate on the ground? Ladki Behan Yojana, the women voters, I saw a lot of them early this morning coming out and voting, no surprises over there. And of course, the corruption issue, does that really matter? And of course, the kind of promises which are being made on both the sides.
But let me ask you, Pallavi, what is the sense that you get with the next generation within the Pawar? This is also a legacy battle both within the Shiv Sena and also within the NCP. Eknath Shinde, the true heir of the Dhanush Ban, versus a matter of relevance for Aditya Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray. On the other hand, Parth Pawar, Ajit Pawar combined on the one hand, Supriya Sule, Rohit Pawar, Sharad Pawar combined on the other. Is Sharad Pawar yet again playing the emotional card that this is my last election, I'm retiring after this, back me up, help set up Rohit and Supriya? Is he saying that on ground?
Yes, and also a very quick update. I mean, we are hearing Sharad Pawar. It just stopped right here, in just over here. You can see it. Going to try and catch up with him, but we are going to get that soundbite of Sharad Pawar. It'll be interesting to hear whether he does break his silence on the Supriya Sule controversy. But you're absolutely right, and I would also say it's a little ironical for a party which is often accused of being dynastic in nature. The Congress is not fighting.
Let me just pause. I think Sharad Pawar is speaking well. Let's see what he says. Let's listen to what he says.
मतदानाचा हक्क हा बजावला पाहिजे. मध्यंतरी लोकसभेची निवडणूक झाली त्यावेळेला महाराष्ट्राचं मतदान 67% आसपास होतं आणि नॉर्थ ईस्टमधली लहान लहान राज्य ही 70, 75, 80% सुद्धा पुढे गेली होती.
Sharad Pawar talking about the voter turnout. He's urging people to come out and vote, saying that states in the northeast aggregate 75% voter turnout, whereas Maharashtra has never crossed 67%. So I'm urging the voters of Maharashtra to come out in larger numbers, greater numbers, and set an example. So he's urging every single person, voter of Maharashtra, to come out and do their matadan or vote.
भारतीय जनता पक्षाचा आढळून येतो, कुठेतरी गाडीवरती हल्ला होतोय, जीव घेणे हल्ले होत आहेत. हे जे रूप आलेलं आहे, तर याला म्हणजे कुठली यंत्रणा कुठेतरी कमी पडते असं म्हणायचं का?
साधारणतः महाराष्ट्रात मतदान नेहमी शांततेने होतं, पण नागपूर जिल्ह्यामध्ये माजी गृहमंत्री अनिल देशमुख यांच्यावर हल्ला झाला.
So he's talking about the Anil Deshmukh incident.
हल्ला होता. असे प्रकार सहसा म्हणजे कुठे छोटे मोठे शक्यते होतच नाही असं नाही, पण यावेळी थोडंसं जादा दिसल्या. पुन्हा त्या होऊ नयेत अशीच अपेक्षा.
So he said that there should be no violence during polling day. What happened with Anil Deshmukh is perhaps unfortunate. Let's hope that we don't have to witness similar scenes on polling day. Now questions on Supriya Sule and the allegations on her with Bitcoin trading.
जे बडतर्फ झाल्यानंतर त्यांनी केलेले होते ते आताही पुण्यामध्ये पत्रकार परिषद करतात.
जी व्यक्ती काही महिने तुरुंगात होती त्याचं म्हणणं काय, याची नोंद तरी कशाला घ्यायची? माझ्या मते त्याची नोंद घेण्याची आवश्यकता नाही.
भाजपनं फार त्याच्यावर केंद्रीय पातळीवर पत्रकार परिषदा वगैरे घेतल्या.
ते असं असं भाजप आणि त्यांच्या एकंदरीत सगळ्या कॅम्पेनकडे बघायचा दृष्टिकोन किती खालच्या पातळीचा आहे हे स्पष्ट होते. त्यापेक्षा अधिक त्याचा मला भाष्य करायचं नाही.
So, Sharad Pawar laughing off the allegations and saying it looks, it just shows the desperation. There is no need for us to do any of resort to any such measures.
बदल अपेक्षित करतात. मतदानाचा निर्णय ते त्या संदर्भात घेतील असं मला फायनल घेतील.
अंदाज काय साहेब?
काल विनोद तावडेंच्या ज्या बाबतीत जो प्रकार झाला, भाजपच्याच माणसाकडनं आम्हाला सांगितलं गेलं होतं टाकून.
Now, questions on Vinod Tavade and the incidents around him. Sir,
पण लगेचच मी त्याच्यावर काही भाष्य करणार नाही, कारण ज्यांच्या उद्देशाचा आरोप केला जातो त्यांना मी बरेच वर्ष ओळखतो, त्यामुळे माझ्याकडे ऑथेंटिक माहिती असल्याचं मी भाष्य करणार.
So Sharad Pawar saying he doesn't want to say much. It is individual party and how their leaders and what they conduct themselves, and it is for the election commission to investigate the matter. I don't want to say much about it. Somewhere he's saying I want voters to come out in large numbers and vote, and if the voters have already made up their minds, I don't need to bother myself with some of these issues that are being raised. Laughing off the entire Supriya Sule matter, wanting to stay clear about making any strong comments on what happened around Vinod Tavade, but very clearly urging voters to come out and vote, saying Maharashtra must set an example. We cannot be one of the states that votes comes out poorly in poorer numbers compared to some of the other states who, despite the adversity and the issues, come out and vote in large numbers. A big message coming in from Sharad Pawar. How much of an influence is he going to be? Let's just bring it back in here. We'll try and go back to Pallavi. Pallavi said she'll aim to try and attempt to speak with Sharad Pawar also. Supriya Sule coming out and saying, I'm willing to come out and answer all the questions. Defamation notice has been charged. But in terms of the legacy aspect, how critical, how important is Sharad Pawar in the mix of things?
In
Because
fact,
in June he was very critical.
The one who's taking on Ajit Pawar has been the MLA in Baramati since 1991. He's not lost a single election since 1991. Yugendra Pawar is the son of Sharad Pawar's brother. So it is again really a matter of legacy. But in Western Maharashtra, which is really the gud of the NCP, Mr. Pawar, the reason, I mean, you go even in 2019, where the Congress-NCP alliance lost quite badly to the BJP-United Shiv Sena, in Western Maharashtra, the Congress-NCP was higher in terms of seats. They were almost 10 seats higher than the BJP-Shiv Sena. And if you look at the breakup in the Congress alliance,
the vote share is the same.
Yeah, the NCP is higher than the Congress. Again, twice, 21 to 10 of the Congress. The NCP's vote share was 26%. And the reason for that is Mr. Sharad Pawar's vote is concentrated. It's highly concentrated in Western Maharashtra, in Sangli, Satara, Kolhapur, Solapur. Anything south and west of Pune is basically his stronghold. And his vote is much more concentrated than the BJP's vote or the Congress's vote, which is spread across regions. Which is why even in the 80-odd seats that he's fighting this time around, a bulk of those seats are in Western Maharashtra. 58 seats, like I said, he has to get in the numbers in this region and, of course, whatever spillover that he will find in Marathwada or in Vidarbha. But his vote is far more concentrated. For example, in Mumbai, I don't think the NCP Sharad Pawar is even fighting a single seat. So they have hardly any votes in Mumbai. So the point is that his vote is restricted largely to this 58 seats in Western Maharashtra, where it is one part is Maratha politics. There is the sugar cooperatives. He's controlled the sugar cooperatives for the last God knows how many years. But really, this battle, this time's battle, is really about who will take forward his legacy. Will it be his nephew or will it be his daughter?
Well, in the fight within the family, somewhere Ajit Pawar had said soon after the Lok Sabha elections that it was a mistake to field my wife against Supriya Sule. I shouldn't have done that. But then he now finds that his own nephew is fighting against him. He's laughed that off and he says, I'll go ahead and do my work. Some people got back to campaigning, got back to setting right things in the Mahayuti. In the Maha Vikas Aghadi, Sharad Pawar this time around is a reluctant campaigner compared to the Lok Sabha, where he had found that second wind, that energy. After that book launch where he said, I want to retire, and the whole drama that played out, and they said, no, you cannot leave this party. And then the split that happened, Sharad Pawar took it upon himself to teach Ajit Pawar a lesson perhaps at that time. What's the situation this time around on ground?
Well, Anand, I think even the BJP's assessment is that Sharad Pawar is the strongest pillar in the Maha Vikas Aghadi. Even now, two reasons. Number one, they think that in this whole seat distribution which has happened in MVA, Sharad Pawar has smartly picked the best seats. His strike rate could be higher than even Uddhav or the Congress. That's what the BJP's own assessment is, that Sharad Pawar will be strong in this election. In fact, they believe Ajit Pawar may not be able to make that big a dent in Western Maharashtra when there is Sharad Pawar is involved. So that is number one. They also feel that amongst the number 5 and number 6 party in this election, which will end up, there's a competition maybe between Uddhav Thackeray and Ajit Pawar. Sharad Pawar could do well. Second also is the strategy part. Whether Sharad Pawar may have campaigned less, but I think still the backroom strategy of Sharad Pawar, even in Vidarbha, he's traveled a lot there, in fact, has been good. They have fought a good election. The Sharad Pawar faction has fought a good election, and Ajit Pawar also has been at odds with the BJP on various issues, be it the slogan "Batenge to Katenge," or even he went on to say that voting for my candidate doesn't mean voting for BJP. He's even made that statement. So in a way, Ajit Pawar has been at odds on certain matters with the BJP, but in the MVA faction, Sharad Pawar is like the fountainhead.
Have they very smartly played good cop, bad cop within themselves to keep the fight within the Yuti itself rather than bringing the MVA? Now, this is something which DK Shivkumar Siddaramaiah did very smartly in the Karnataka elections. But here, with respect to Sharad Pawar, Supriya Sule, Rohit Pawar, Yogendra Pawar, is this going to be critical? And let's look at that in terms of, as the dust settles on the 23rd, will each party look at their strike rate to try and claim relevance and perhaps hold? Is the Congress now in a weaker position compared to Lok Sabha on ground in terms of campaigning because it's Vidhan Sabha elections? Or is this the right time for the Congress to come out and say, we deserve the maximum number of seats, even though we were the third party in 2019? What a turn of fortunes for the Congress between 19 to 24 in Maharashtra itself. Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha. Yes, Nalin, and then
one of the things that I'm hearing from the BJP is that the Congress may have done better. It may have missed a trick by contesting in lesser seats this time.
Yeah.
Because of the gains they made 3 months ago, they seem to have given up a lot more.
Because of what happened in Haryana.
Right?
Did the Haryana aspect allow the Chhatrabs to flex a little more muscle?
Yeah. So if you look at the seat distribution or who's fighting how many seats, BJP is fighting 152. The Shiv Sena is fighting 80. NCP is fighting 52. But remember, the BJP has 17 more candidates who are fighting on their allies tickets. So which side they'll go. So there is a lot of micromanagement in this election.
But for the Congress party, do you believe let's talk about the Maha Vikas Aghadi. Who do you think is the weakest link in the Maha Vikas Aghadi? Who do you think will come out and focus? Everybody's going to focus on strike rate. But who's perhaps given up the most or will gain the most this time?
Well, it's very interesting that you should bring up this factor, because if you look at Jharkhand, and we forget that there is a second phase going on there. It's very crucial also, that phase for the BJP specifically. But to be very honest, there has been a lot of rumblings within the opposition alliance, of course, within the JMM alliance there, where JMM and RJD feel that the Congress hasn't quite done enough. And they feel that it's a bit of a liability. It's a bit of a stepney, a spare wheel. A large number of people who've been sort of talking to various journalists, etc., and I've been watching on our channel, on other channels also, seem to be suggesting that even within the Mahayuti, there is this worry that the Congress may not be able to carry its weight.
Maha Vikas Aghadi.
Yes, sorry, Maha Vikas Aghadi, that the Congress may not be able to carry its weight. And that is something that is at some level playing on the minds. Now, when you talk about the three main players in the MVA, look, I think the Shiv Sena under Uddhav did have a good strike rate. The NCP had a so-so strike rate. The Congress actually also didn't do very well. It didn't outperform itself. Even within these three, it was the third party, even during the Lok Sabha.
I mean, did you get your shot of coffee? Congress got 13 out of the 18 seats it fought. It had the highest strike rate amongst the Maha Vikas Aghadi in Lok Sabha 2024.
Okay. So sorry, I stand
What
corrected there.
What happened?
I stand corrected there. Okay.
Is everything
I stand
okay?
corrected there. It's fine.
They were number 3 at the Vidhan Sabha in 2019.
Yeah.
2024 Lok Sabha, they were the best
They were
within
the
the
single
Maha Vikas
largest
Aghadi.
party in the
fundamentally-
2024 Lok Sabha. BJP had 9, Congress had 13.
Yeah,
So that's why I said the turn of fortunes for the Congress between
the
19
turn
to
of
24.
fortune. So,
Ji.
sorry about that. The fact of the matter is that fundamentally speaking, this time after Haryana and the so-called reversal in Jammu, there is a fear that the Congress may not be able to go up against the BJP in straight contest. That's the worry.
But the straight contest, BJP straight contest, maximum number of contests are against the Congress again in Maharashtra. 75. Correct me if I'm wrong. Daniel Francis is also with us. Daniel, your thoughts? You've been listening to this conversation. Strike rate, who's the weakest link, who's the strongest one on both sides, and especially within the MVA. What do you think are going to be the critical aspects?
It would be not right to underestimate the Congress in Maharashtra. One is that Lok Sabha has shown that a certain caste base, which was the original Congress caste base, has come back to them. Secondly is that Congress at least had 40 to 50 micro satraps, who control their talukas, who control their regions, who control their districts. And most importantly, the alliance, this MVA, this Uddhav and Sharad Pawar and the Congress and their vote coming together is a workable alliance. We have seen in Lok Sabha that it works on the ground. People come, Muslims can join with Uddhav, the backwards can join with Marathas. So there's a lot of combination, permutation. It's a real threat to the BJP in particular.
You believe the Congress should have contested more seats?
The Congress wanted to contest more seats, but they couldn't contest more seats. There was a lot of...
Did the Haryana reversal have to have a role to play there?
I don't think Haryana,
what they could actually command?
Haryana and Jammu Kashmir has any impact on this election. Haryana is a very different election.
No, not the impact. I'm saying the perception of the party. In the sense, had they won Haryana, would they have been able to flex muscle over UBT and NCP Sharad Pawar and say over the Mashal and...
Now you take Congress on one side and the BJP on the other side. They cannot do without the regional parties. Cannot do without the regional parties. Do you think that if Mr. Shinde...
No. I'm not. What I'm asking is very clear. The Mashal and the Tutari would have had to bow to the hand. Had the hand demanded 120 seats. Had the Congress won Haryana. Since the BJP won Haryana, then did the Congress have to backtrack, and did the NCP and the UBT thereafter get more seats?
Each one is getting the vote transferred to one another, and each one is benefiting. The Congress party wanted to contest on more than 100 seats, but they couldn't contest because the regional parties didn't allow them to posture the way they wanted to posture.
Why didn't they allow them? That's what I'm saying. Did the Haryana reversal...
It's because of the impact, the psychological impact, not the psephological or the electoral impact of the Haryana and the Jammu election to some extent. But look at the vote shares. Okay, even in this last 2024 election, it's very confusing, but in the last 2024 Lok Sabha election, the Congress only got about 16.9% of the vote. The BJP got significantly more than the Congress did. I'm not saying that it was, the seats and all of that. Forget about that. My point is that the Congress, even beyond the Shiv Sena UBT, didn't do much better on vote share terms. I think one was 16.9 and the other one was 16.3%.
Yeah, or
something like that. So
but when it
they were
comes
in
to
the same ballpark. What I'm trying to say is that the Congress, even in 2024, even when there was this massive wave in its favor and it did very well, in vote share terms, didn't dramatically increase its number.
No, but please educate me here. Are there too many multi-cornered fights in this election, or despite it being 6 parties, largely most of the seats are direct fights?
I agree with you. I think even though there are 6 parties, I think the choice really before the Maharashtra voters is twofold. It's either Mahayuti or it is...
So then that means 3 parties combining their vote share and transferring the vote towards one candidate. Whoever can do that better will have the advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
What happens to a Raj Thackeray who's contesting in about 70 seats? What happens to the BVA? What will the impact they'll make? There are also independents, about 30 independents who are contesting. What is the impact that they will have?
See, Anand, there are 2 very important factors, I think, which will determine this election. Number one is these 76 direct fights between the Congress and the BJP. Congress is contesting 102 seats. Out of that, in 2/3 of the seats, it's going up against the BJP. BJP is only going up against Congress candidates in half of the seats it's contesting, about 150.
Correct.
So who wins these 76 seats ka battle could determine who is the single largest party, because higher the strike rate of the BJP, lower will be the strike rate of the Congress.
See,
that
in
could
Lok
reverse from
Sabha
last
also,
time.
the BJP claimed that they had a 60% strike rate against the Congress across the seats they contested.
Absolutely.
So the Congress's claim that it's actually clawing back and it's got the better of the BJP perhaps fails. That's what their aggregate. So 69%, I think, was their conversion.
Yes, absolutely. So that is very important. Who wins the 76 seats ka battle? BJP's assessment is it could win over 50 out of these 76 seats. So the Congress is expected to do badly in the seats it's directly contesting with the BJP. Second, I think the important point,
So that
who
means
can
they are saying
ensure
that out of 102, they are contesting
76
50%.
against the
Yeah,
BJP.
no, I'm saying 50% of their seats,
Yes.
they may not win at all. So their conversion
Absolutely.
ratio will be less than 50% by default.
So that is the BJP's calculation.
Yeah.
Congress strike rate could come down by a big way in this election. Number two, I think very important point that you said, who can ensure a better vote transfer? You know, who can ensure? Because parties can be very strong independently, but
Yeah.
can you ensure a vote transfer inside your alliance? In that way, I think the BJP is better placed because there is a more coordinated strategy rather than on the
Is
other
it
side.
better placed, Rahul, or if does the Lok Sabha and Nalin, does the Lok Sabha actually show the MVA had a better vote transfer than the Mahayuti did?
So, firstly, when it comes to the BJP the BJP Congress direct fights, which Aman was talking about, in the last election, the BJP had a strike rate of 64%. The Congress had a strike rate of 29.9%. But that's also because the BJP now bear in mind that in Maharashtra, BJP is the only party that has an even spread across every region. See, the other parties are far more concentrated.
Yeah.
Shiv Sena,
Yeah,
NCP,
Western
Congress,
Maharashtra,
right?
yeah, with
BJP,
the
if you look at the
Marathwada.
last two elections, 2014, 2019, and Lok Sabha as well, including Lok Sabha where BJP had reverses, its vote share is evenly spread across regions. So it is the pan-state party. Now, in terms of vote share transfers, I think that's a tricky one, simply because on the ground also there's a lot of confusion about both symbols, and very often people have been changing sides so much, people often get confused on the ground, right? So we don't really know the answer to that. I don't think anyone can predict that because the equations in Maharashtra have been changing so much in the last year and a half. It's a very difficult election to call.
Okay, let's say,
psychologically.
I'm not even going to get into the bellwether seats per se, but is there a bellwether region? If this region votes in a particular pattern, this could actually shape the result. Because the race is for 146 seats. Now, last time also 2019, the BJP plus or the Mahayuti got 162, if my memory serves me right. 162. So correct. So, but this time around, which region could decide?
I think it's not
the
one.
election?
I think it would be three regions. To my
Three
mind,
regions.
it would be Vidarbha, which is the biggest, 62 seats. It would definitely be Marathwada because of this whole Maratha agitation, and Western Maharashtra because again it's 58 seats. It's the second
that's
biggest
a
region. So
Sharad Pawar
essentially about 160 seats. In these 160 seats, if BJP and its Mahayuti alliance runs away with it, they had a 14-seat lead in this 160. If they run away with it in Vidarbha, in Marathwada, and in Western Maharashtra, then they are winning. The other two regions are much smaller. Mumbai, of course, if you add Mumbai, Thane, Kalyan, the outskirts, it's about 50-odd seats. But it doesn't necessarily reflect the rest of this state. The issues that matter here, whether it is agrarian distress or whether it is Ladki Bahin, it's not so much voters in Mumbai who depend on Ladki Bahin. It's the people who are in the rural areas. If you see higher women voter turnout, for example, in many of these seats, again, this will have an impact. In these 160-odd seats, if you were to look at, again, the direct contests that we've been talking about, Congress versus BJP, there are 75 across the state. There are 35 of them in Vidarbha alone. But in these three regions, there's a direct fight of 75. 43 the BJP won last time. Only 27 the Congress alliance got. Congress, again, I'll break up that, of which the BVA had 2, the NCP had 1. This time the BVA is fighting separately, Mr. Prakash Ambedkar's party. The NCP had only 1. The Congress had 24 out of 27. If you look at the BJP out of the 43, the alliance 43, all 43 were won by the BJP. There was only a 3% vote share of the United Shiv Sena in these seats. And if you look at where those seats are, a large number of them are in Vidarbha. There are a few in northern Maharashtra and a few in Marathwada. So again, the point I'm coming back to, just like Mr. Sharad Pawar's vote is concentrated in Western Maharashtra, the Shiv Sena's vote was largely a Mumbai vote, a Thane vote, a Konkan vote, and some pockets of Marathwada, which is why even when you look at the direct fights, the transfer of the Shiv Sena vote did not matter as much to the BJP versus Congress direct fights when you're talking about vote consolidation. Right. The opposite is what we saw in the Lok Sabha election in 2024, where you had Congress votes, what Rahul was talking about, the DMK votes, the Dalit votes, the Muslim votes, and some section of the Marathas. they moved even when a UBT candidate was fielded. And I think in Mumbai, you saw this in the Lok Sabha, where people were talking about, Muslims voting for Mr. Thackeray's party.
And the
It
numbers,
became
the numbers came, and Eknath Shinde very clearly said that the 19% vote share, almost just about a 0.5% dip, but the entire core Shiv Sena voter voted for the Dhanush Ban with Eknath Shinde, and UBT got its benefits because the entire Cong NCP voter base, they voted for, and that's where the vote transfer actually happened. Interestingly, gentlemen, LADKI is Ladki in Hindi, that means girl, and Bahin or Behen. But in Marathi, Ladki becomes dearest. So it's Ladki Bahin. So it's the dearest sister. So the whole Yojana, it is, and there is something that which is very interesting. The BJP says Ladki Bahin Yojana, and the Shiv Sena Eknath Shinde says Mukhyamantri Ladki Bahin Yojana. The reason why is because this is Eknath Shinde's thought process, and it was started by him, this Ladki Bahin Yojana. So the Shinde faction claims credit for this, and this, they many believe, will be a game changer. And it is inspired from what Shivraj Singh Chauhan did in Madhya Pradesh. How much of an impact will that have on ground, gentlemen? Yeah.
So I think this.
I'll bring in
this
Daniel
scheme,
also on this
this
after this.
scheme
Yeah.
is a very important scheme. This turnaround thing so for BJP in Maharashtra, similar version in Madhya Pradesh, similar version in Haryana. No, but see, apart from this scheme, I think this apart from this scheme, there are 4 or 5 things that have happened which have allowed the BJP to pull to pull back the distance it was encountering. Number one, if you see the National Commission for Backward Castes on October 9th, it announced that 19 new castes and subcastes should be part of the OBC classification. On October 10th, the government announced that the creamy layer, the benchmark should be lifted from 8 lakh rupees to 15 lakh rupees, which again is seen as an outreach towards OBCs. There has been, if you see there were MLC elections soon after the Lok Sabha elections. The Mahayuti won 9 of those 11. Out of the 5 that BJP won, 4 were OBCs. Right. So what's happening is that the BJP is focusing very specifically on the OBC vote. And 3 things are different in this election compared to 2024 Lok Sabha. The first is that the RSS is on the ground much more than it was earlier. We also saw that in Haryana. There is also a much more concerted effort by the BJP organizationally. You see that also in the fact how much Yogi Adityanath is campaigning. For example, this is not his state. And then these correctives the BJP has taken both on the constitution Khatre Mein Hai issue and the outreach to different castes. So that's why there's a different election from 3 months.
See, the women voter are not so far away from the male voter. It's 48 to 50% in terms of the strength.
Just when you're talking about the conversion of votes, etc., I just want to quickly weigh in here because there's some corrections that need to be made. First of all, the highest strike rate within the MVA was the NCP Sharad Pawar, which was 80%. So they contested, if you look at the number to assembly, 48, they won out of 60 seats they contested. So that's the 80%. So it wasn't the Congress that did the best in that side. It was actually the NCP Shiv Sena, NCP Sharad Pawar, which tells you that basically a large amount of conversion did actually work in its favor. A large number of others did funnel their vote to the Sharad Pawar
because there was a
faction
strong
of the
Sharad
NCP.
Pawar sentiment.
That's right. Plus, its vote is concentrated in one particular area, and as you
so
know,
you're saying transfer to assembly seats out of 60, they won 42.
They won 48 out of 60,
48,
which is 80%.
80%.
Then came the Congress, which contested 102 seats, out of which it won 63, which is a roughly 60% conversion rate. The laggard here was SSUBT. Now, that only won 45% of the seats it actually contested, 57 out of 126. So I think we all got it a bit wrong. The point is that fundamentally SSUBT didn't get the benefit of the other alliance partners and their vote because there was suspicion clearly about its credentials amongst a large number
would you
of
say that, or would you say that it only got the others vote and it did not have its own core voter voting for it and it actually moved away from it to
that may be a bit debatable. I don't know if a large number of Muslims actually did eventually vote for the
and those
SSUBT.
the numbers have been put out.
So maybe that's what explains it.
Especially in Mumbai,
clearly, maybe the Shinde Sena then really ate into the UBT vote. I don't know, but I can't hazard that.
Now, that's
So-
why from whose prism you speak, because
Yes.
Eknath Shinde believes the core Dhanushban voter retained with him. So 19% came away. So Uddhav Thackeray,
basically,
did not move with Uddhav
basically
Thackeray. That's their point of
something,
view.
obviously something
Yeah,
didn't work for them.
Correct.
The other two parties seem to be fairly decently placed in the MVA to either transfer
See,
votes
interestingly,
or
the
retain their votes.
63% strike rate of the Congress party over 102 assemblies constituency. It's the same 102 seats that is it the same 102 seats that the Congress is fighting this time, which will be very interesting.
No, he's made a Lok Sabha to Assembly.
No, I'm
conversion,
just
which
saying.
Yeah, but
I
that's
don't
the
know why
only
he's
one-
doing that even after Haryana.
But that's the only one we can do.
Absolutely.
No, I
Fundamentally,
think it's flawed. I
2019
think we should not do a Lok Sabha to Assembly conversion.
See, Anand,
no
coming
two
back
elections
to
are the
the,
same.
We'll keep the cameras rolling even after the break, during the break, for
So
you to
Anand-
know
Anand,
what's
the
happening
reason
here.
why
Coming back to the Ladki Behan Yojana
why are we
impact
doing
which
the
you were
2019 to 2024 when nothing applies? So,
No,
I mean,
it's
you know,
Assembly to Assembly. I mean, that's how the comparison.
Yeah,
is
but-
made. it can never be Lok Sabha to.
I'm just very keen
If
to
it was Lok
understand-
Sabha
Anand,
to Vidhan
no,
Sabha,
what
Congress
I'm
would have won
interested in
Haryana.
understanding
Now
is
you're
that the
your point.
Congress is fighting 102 seats this time. Is it somewhere reflecting the 102 seats where they were actually in action? If you were to translate from Lok Sabha seats into Assembly seats for 2019, June 2024, where they had a 63% strike rate, have they come back to those 102 seats
Yeah,
trying to
that's all
capitulate?
that's the
We'll have to
point I'm making.
capitalize. We'll
That's
have to
the
wait and
point
watch.
I'm making.
Yeah,
coming back to
Ladki
the-
Behan and also Ladki Behan and with Daniel also. Yes,
See,
Aman
coming
and
back
then
to the
Daniel.
Ladki Behan Yojana, the impact, I think, Anand, on the ground. See, 2.5 crore women have got 5 installments of 7,500 rupees. There are about 4.7 crore women voters in Maharashtra.
Yes.
So effectively, every family, because it's not going to every woman, every family in Maharashtra has got the money. Now, my experience of this schemes in other states is whoever gives it first has the advantage, because once you give the money in somebody's pocket, the people feel that this money is like coming for sure. Our budget is made. We don't want to trust another party promising another amount. वो आएगी नहीं देगी कुछ पता नहीं है. 1,500 to 2,100, I think was also a master stroke by the BJP, because when I went to the ground, some women who got 1,500 were complaining कि 700 का cylinder आ जाता है, 500 का तेल आ जाता है.
By Eknath Shinde.
By so
They
Eknath
are
Shinde or the
touchy about it.
Mahayuti. The Fadnavis also seems he's the architect of the scheme. He
Yeah.
also claims. Anyways, so that is the major point. I think the impact of this on the ground, what the BJP is hoping for, that this scheme can transcend caste barriers. I will cite you quickly 2 anecdotes. I went to the cotton farmers in Vidarbha. Farmers were angry with the BJP still saying cotton ka price, but I saw these women cotton farmers who plucked the cotton saying, no, we have got the money. And it is a good thing. Second anecdote, I went to this Dalit colony, Ambedkarite Dalit colony in Nagpur. Again, people were saying that, we don't vote for the BJP, we don't. But women there were saying that this money has come, and we are very sure if another government comes, this money will not come. So I think BJP is hoping that this scheme can transcend caste barriers. It can work like the way it worked in Madhya Pradesh, like the promise worked in states like Odisha and Chhattisgarh, where BJP promised this money. So I think who gives it first matters. What is the counter promise? People really don't
The
believe that.
women vote matters. It always did, and it's mattering more now. That's what's
Anand,
happening. 4.7 crore
Anand, an
voters. If a bulk of them
illustration
vote
how
one
much
way,
the
they
Mahila
can change
and
the
Garib
election.
vote matters in this election is that after the Ladki Behan Yojana was launched, look at what the Congress has promised on the women vote. The Congress said, we will give you 3,000 rupees a month. The currently women are getting about 1,500 rupees a month. The BJP is in its manifesto said will increase it to 2,100.
2,100.
Look at the promises the Congress made apart from that too. So just the women vote itself. Free travel in buses, similar like Karnataka. Free vaccines for cervical cancer. 2.5 lakh government jobs, and 6 cylinders in a year, and about 2 days leave for menstrual leave for women, and 1 lakh for girls who reach 18. Now that is a direct attempt to get at the women vote, right? Exactly taking on what the BJP has done. But I think Aman is on to something here, that in the direct benefit transfers, it is the party which has first mover advantage, often takes it all in that election at least.
No, and not just that. In other Congress ruled states, have all these schemes been implemented to the way they have been committed, or has there been some backfire? There was also a lot of dissonance on ground with these guarantee credit cards, which they say, which a lot of women went and queued, and they said, sorry, it's not going to be honored. Daniel, 1 second, Jets. Let's just get Daniel in and then I'll come back. Yes, Daniel.
The schemes that Eknath Shinde government has launched after the Lok Sabha did change the narrative a little bit, the kind of negativity that was there against the NDA in Maharashtra, that really changed, and the focus was completely on welfare schemes. And there are many schemes that for women in particular that they launched, keeping in mind the women voters, which I feel is having a decisive impact on the electoral fortunes of this government. And they have been able to. I agree with Aman that they've been able to break some of the Muslim women, some of the Dalit women, in particular, through this scheme. Also, the whole credibility of Eknath Shinde also plays out. Somebody who understands poverty, somebody who's come from the kind of who speaks the language of the poor and the women in particular. There's a lot of resonance in that, and the impact of this scheme, how much it will have an impact, we'll have to assess after the results come. But will it surely sure have an impact? Yes, because it's a massive rollout, very well rolled out scheme, very well implemented scheme, and very well marketed scheme. So I think that Ladki Behna will be a game changer against all the caste and other combinations that we see.
Well, so the Ladki Bahin could play a role
Also-
of a game
also
changer.
one-
We're compelled to take a break. We'll take this conversation forward. I'll just leave you with a thought, ladies and gentlemen. Does the voter always want to vote those who are not just the underdog, but in whom they see someone who struggled hard, worked on the ground, and made a name or carved a name for themselves, and those who have not forgotten where they came from or what their origins are? Does that actually matter to the voter, irrespective of the political party? And should that also matter to the Neta? They should never forget their roots and where they came from, and always remind themselves and the voter too. Stay with that thought. We'll see you after the break.
And I'm joined by a battery of reporters from Maharashtra who are in fact reporting on ground. Mayuresh is in fact reporting from Bandra. He is tracking the Thackeray family. Payal is in fact reporting from central Nagpur, tracking RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat. Yesha from Thane tracking Eknath Shinde. And Pallavi from Baramati tracking Sharad Pawar. Now let me go first across to Payal, who is in fact reporting from central Nagpur, tracking Mohan Bhagwat. Payal, tell us what time is Mohan Bhagwat supposed to arrive there, and also given the fact that in Haryana we have seen how RSS played a very crucial role. What are you observing when it comes to Maharashtra, the role of RSS in the Maharashtra elections?
Well, to begin with, Mohan Bhagwat, the RSS chief, is already in the polling booth. He should be out within the next couple of minutes after having cast his vote. Remember, he came here at least 10 minutes before the voting really began, because, this is where the RSS headquarters really is. And this is a very, very important center as far as the BJP is really concerned, because, both, whether it's Devendra Fadnavis or whether it's Nitin Gadkari, both son of the soil, or their allegiance to the RSS, and of course have been part of the RSS from their very, very childhood as well. So the RSS contribution is extremely important as far as the BJP is really concerned. The Jan Sangh is, what they date back to. And we've seen what they were able to do, in Haryana. So even if sources are to be believed, over here in Maharashtra, they're working overtime. Their basic agenda, Sharon, is to in fact encourage people to go out and vote. That last ditch effort campaigning has shut about 24 to 48 hours ago, but the last bit of effort to in fact take people, to the polling booth, that's exactly what the RSS specializes in. And the workers have been working overtime. I'm given to understand that they're working in not just the constituency of the BJP is very strong, but also the constituencies where the Mahayuti is in fact contesting as well. So that's something which is going to be important to see. We'll see Mohan Bhagwat stepping out in a bit from now, and he'll probably be giving us a soundbite as well. But a very, very crucial election as far as Vidarbha on the whole is really concerned, given the fact that Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis is contesting from Nagpur south west seat as well. So that's something which is going to be very important to watch out for. We're just keeping our cameras waiting for Mr. Mohan Bhagwat to step out, and he's of course accompanied by the other RSS office bearers as well. Any moment from now, Sharon, he should be out, and it'll be important to see what his message really to the people of the country is, people of Maharashtra is concerned. And let's just see what message he gives to people of Maharashtra in terms of their importance to cast this particular vote, and whether he makes any other statement as well. That remains to be seen.
Absolutely, Payal. In fact, please stay with us. We'll keep coming back to you as and when Mohan Bhagwat will cast his vote and will come out. Let me now directly go across to Pallavi, who is in fact reporting from Baramati. Pallavi, Baramati is once again seeing Pawar versus Pawar in Lok Sabha election. Supriya Sule won that seat. What have been your observation in Baramati? Which side is the pendulum going to swing?
Well, first of all, Baramati, as we all know, is a bastion of Sharad Pawar, and it was a hard-fought election which took place during Lok Sabha, where Ajit Pawar's wife Sunita took on Supriya Sule, and of course she won. Well, over here, the Pawar versus Pawar factor pretty much plays out on the ground, but no one is going to talk about it openly. But many people do indicate that what works in the Lok Sabha may be very different as far as the assembly is concerned. In many more ways than one, it is a prestige battle really for Mr. Sharad Pawar himself. As we know, he's almost the fulcrum of the MVA. Both the Congress as well as the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena are depending a lot on his good performance. And should they be, and there's a big if about it, a hung assembly, then they are depending on Mr. Sharad Pawar's and his acumen, his maturity, and the fact that he has good equations across political spectrums to be able to swing the fortunes in favor of the MVA. But interestingly, in a late night development, there were huge allegations which were made by the BJP against Supriya Sule, and she of course rebutted it. She should be here at around 8 a.m. we are told, to cast her vote over here. She's accused the BJP of dirty politics. The BJP hit by the Tavre, hit by those allegations of distributing money among the party workers and the voters. So those factors are going to be important. But I think at the end of the day, the local factors, Baramati is pretty well developed, is the sugarcane hub or bowl of Maharashtra in that sense. There's a lot of development on the ground, but people are also deeply divided. The Pawar.
बढ़िया बात है, इंतजाम बहुत अच्छा किया हुआ है। अरे मेरे को क्यों ढका? बहुत अच्छा इंतजाम किया हुआ है। मैं देख रहा था कि सीनियर सिटीजन के लिए बहुत अच्छा इंतजाम किया हुआ है, बहुत सफाई रखी हुई है। एंड बस आज यही है कि सब लोग आए, वोट करें, दैट इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट।
इलेक्शन हो रहा है और क्या हो रहा है?
एक मिनट सर, किसकी सरकार आएगी? महायुति, महाविकास आघाड़ी?
महाविकास आघाड़ी की आएगी सरकार।
क्या अनुमान है सर आपका, कितनी सीटें?
अभी ये अनुमान तो न्यूज वाले लगाएंगे, हम अपना एक ही अनुमान है जो लगा रहे हैं आज।
आपके दो भाई चुनाव में हैं, इतने बड़े पॉलिटिकल फैमिली से आप हो, तो कुछ तो आपका कैलकुलेशन होगा।
नहीं, जो मेरा कैलकुलेशन है पर्सनल कैलकुलेशन है, उससे मैं यही कह सकता हूँ आपको कि महा विकास आघाड़ी की सरकार बनेगी।
कितनी सीटों का सर आकलन है?
आइए वोट कीजिए, ये हमारी एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। ECI का मैं आइकन हूँ, तो बहुत समय से मैं यही कह रहा हूँ, लोगों को यही दरख्वास्त कर रहा हूँ कि आइए वोट कीजिए, हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। यहाँ फैसिलिटीज़ भी अच्छी है, और जैसे कि मैंने अभी कहा कि सारे ऑर्गेनाइजर्स ने यहाँ पे अच्छी फैसिलिटीज़ की है, सिर्फ हमारे लिए नहीं, मगर मैं ये उम्मीद करता हूँ कि सारे लोगों के लिए अच्छी फैसिलिटीज़ रहेंगी। पूरा जो पीरियड है, वोटिंग पीरियड, वो पूरे समय तक अच्छी फैसिलिटीज़ रहे, यही मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ, और किसी को तकलीफ ना हो। आइए ज़रूर वोट कीजिए।
लोग जो करने आए वो वोटिंग है, और वो सबका राइट है, वो सबका अधिकार है। तो मुझे लगता है कि ये आज का दिन जो है वो वोटिंग के हिसाब से है। तो जो गरीब है, जो भी है, यंग ओल्ड जो भी है, वोट करना ज़रूर है।
उसमें आजकल महिलाएं ज्यादा लाइन में खड़ी होती है, वोट परसेंट में भी महिलाएं या तो इक्वल होती है या ज्यादा होती हैं। तो महिलाओं में आजकल डेमोक्रेसी को लेके, वोटिंग राइट को लेके ज्यादा समझदारी है, ज्यादा अवेयरनेस है।
शायद हो सकता है।
आप कुछ अपील करेंगे, क्योंकि अभी पूरा दिन बाकी है वोट के लिए?
नहीं, मैंने तो अपील किया, आज का दिन जो है इम्पोर्टेंट दिन है, आप प्लीज़ जाके वोट कीजिए, ये आपका राइट है, और you can make a big difference.
And I'm joined by a battery of reporters from Maharashtra who are in fact reporting on ground. Mayuresh is in fact reporting from Bandra East, tracking the Thackeray family. Payal is in fact reporting from central Nagpur, tracking RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat. Yesha from Thane, tracking Eknath Shinde. And Pallavi from Baramati, tracking Sharad Pawar. Now let me go first across to Payal, who's in fact reporting from central Nagpur, tracking Mohan Bhagwat. Payal, tell us what time is Mohan Bhagwat supposed to arrive there, and also given the fact that in Haryana we have seen how RSS played a very crucial role, what are you observing when it comes to Maharashtra the role of RSS in the Maharashtra elections?
Well, to begin with, Mohan Bhagwat, the RSS chief, is already in the polling booth. He should be out within the next couple of minutes after having cast his vote. Remember, he came here at least 10 minutes before the voting really began, because, you know, this is where the RSS headquarters really is. And this is a very, very important center as far as the BJP is really concerned, because, you know, both, whether it's Devendra Fadnavis or whether it's Nitin Gadkari, both son of the soil, or their allegiance to the RSS, and of course have been part of the RSS from their very, very childhood as well. So the RSS contribution is extremely important as far as the BJP is really concerned. The Jan Sangh is, you know, what they date back to. And we've seen what they were able to do, you know, in Haryana. So even if sources are to be believed over here in Maharashtra, they're working overtime. Their basic agenda, you know, Sharon, is to in fact encourage people to go out and vote. That last ditch effort to, I mean, campaigning has shut about 24 to 48 hours ago, but the last bit of effort to in fact take people, you know, to the polling booth, that's exactly what the RSS specializes in. And, you know, the workers have been working overtime. I'm given to understand that they're working in not just the constituency of the BJP is very strong, but also the constituencies where the Mahayuti is in fact, you know, contesting as well. So that's something which is going to be important to see. We'll see Mohan Bhagwat stepping out in a bit from now, and he'll probably be giving us a soundbite as well. But a very, very crucial election as far as Vidarbha on the whole is really concerned, given the fact that Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis is contesting from Nagpur south west seat as well. So that's something which is going to be very important to watch out for. We're just keeping our cameras waiting for Mr. Mohan Bhagwat to step out, and he's of course accompanied by the other RSS, you know, office bearers as well. Any moment from now, Sharon, he should be out, and it'll be important to see what his message really to the people of the country is, people of Maharashtra is concerned. And let's just see what message he gives to people of Maharashtra in terms of their importance to cast this particular vote, and whether he makes any other statement as well. That remains to be seen.
Absolutely, Payal. In fact, please stay with us. We'll keep coming back to you as and when Mohan Bhagwat will cast his vote and will come out. Let me now directly go across to Pallavi, who is in fact reporting from Baramati. Pallavi, Baramati is once again seeing Pawar versus Pawar in Lok Sabha election. Supriya Sule won that seat. What have been your observation in Baramati? Which side is the pendulum going to swing?
Well, first of all, Baramati, as we all know, is a bastion of Sharad Pawar. And it was a hard-fought election which took place during Lok Sabha, where Ajit Pawar's wife, Sunita, took on Supriya Sule, and of course, she won. Well, over here, the Pawar versus Pawar factor pretty much plays out on the ground. But, you know, no one is going to talk about it openly. But many people do indicate that what works in the Lok Sabha may be very different as far as the assembly is concerned. In many more ways than one, it is a prestige battle really for Mr. Sharad Pawar himself. As we know, he's almost the fulcrum of the MVA. Both the Congress as well as the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena are depending a lot on his good performance. And should there be, and there's a big if about it, a hung assembly, then they are depending on Mr. Sharad Pawar's and his acumen, his maturity, and the fact that he has good equations across political spectrums to be able to swing the fortunes in favor of the MVA. But interestingly, in a late night development, there were huge allegations which were made by the BJP against Supriya Sule, and she of course rebutted it. She should be here at around 8 a.m. we are told, to, you know, cast her vote over here. She's accused the BJP of dirty politics. The BJP hit by the Vinod Tavre, hit by those allegations of distribution.
आपको जलाने आया हूं, आपके लिए मैं लड़ने के लिए मैदान में आया हूं।
हर परिवार को सालाना करीब 3 लाख रुपए का सहयोग मिले। हर महिला को 3,000 रुपए प्रति माह मिले।
हम एक रहेंगे तो सेफ रहेंगे।
It's the battle for the states. Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Phase 2 in Jharkhand across the 81 seats. Phase 2, Jharkhand, which way will it go? Maharashtra, single phase polling. Today is the big day. 288 Vidhan Sabha seats. All going to the ballot till 9 a.m. The voter turnout is less than 7%. Voters, get out. Go ahead and vote. Your vote matters. The ruling Mahayuti alliance featuring the BJP, Eknath Shinde, Shiv Sena, Dhanush Band with him, the Ghadi with Ajit Pawar, but kya unka waqt theek hai? We have to wait and watch. Facing off against the Maha Vikas Aghadi, a coalition of the Congress party, the NCP, Sharad Pawar, kya unki tutari bajegi? Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray with the mashal, will that light the way forward or will they be torched out? We have to wait and watch, ladies and gentlemen. What's at stake for both these sides? The BJP, OBC consolidation is a big factor. Will they be able to replicate the Haryana model and counter this entire Maratha anger, or has that now simmered between June and November? Big question, ladies and gentlemen. Test for ek hai to safe hai. This Maha Mantra, as Devendra Fadnavis has called it, will that get them or help them a certain level of redemption? The opposition had the edge over the NDA in June 2024 Lok Sabha polls. Will they be able to reverse that? Will the opposition be able to keep the momentum going, or will the BJP be able to keep the Haryana momentum going into Jharkhand and also specifically into Maharashtra? Will they be able to expand their influence, prove their mettle against the regional Kshatraps? Will BJP yet again emerge as the single largest party? We have to wait and watch. Is there scope for breaching some opposition bastions, because the opposition crept in to a lot of areas where the BJP had their or held sway in 2014 and 19? With the allies, it's also the test of the Hindutva pitch versus the caste census push. Freebies. Well, let's look at the test of Ladki Bahin. Women voters, 4.7 crore of them out of the 9 crore voters in Maharashtra. Will they make an impact? 9.7 crores in Maharashtra. Impact of loan waiver. And of course, the Kisan. Are they all right with the kapas and the soya bean ka bhuktan? And of course, the ashwasan that there will be more coming their way. What's at stake for the Maha Vikas Aghadi, for the Congress party? The biggest hurdle is their straight fights with the BJP. Can they return a higher strike rate? Can they say that in straight fights with the BJP, nearly 75 seats, if my memory serves me right, will they be able to get more than 50 to 55% conversion? That's when the Congress can say, we can thump the BJP. That's the big test. These 75 seats. Counter the BJP influence in Vidarbha. They were able to do that in Lok Sabha. Can they do it in the Vidhan Sabha? That's the big question. Prove that the Haryana laws was an aberration. And of course, the big brother bragging right. Will they be able to say, we are the ones who are the fulcrum of the opposition of the INDI alliance? Will the LOP be able to stand up and say in the winter session of Parliament that Congress hai to Indi hai? That's the big question. The track record vis-a-vis allies. And well, then the Congress then have to play a meeker role if they don't perform. Factionalism within their ranks. A lot of senior leaders have made their way out. Electoral losses, high-profile exits, and of course, the challenge to rebuild this organization. Will they be able to do the same with Nana Patole? What they couldn't do with Bhupinder Hooda, can they expect to do with Nana Patole? And of course, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Vadra will come into the focus. The Congress test also has consistently promised caste census. That's a big test. But then again, they seem to be confused with their own reservation narrative. That's what the opposite or the BJP is making it out to be. Will they be able to then, this Samvidhan Khatre mein hai, take this forward? And more importantly, ending reservation. Rahul Gandhi has been defending that over the last few days, ever since he made that statement. And then the BJP went to town with that. In the studio with me, Zaka Jacob, Managing Editor, CNN News 18, on the magic wall, but on the seats, Consulting Editor with Network 18, Rahul Shivshankar. With him, Rohit Chandravarkar, Senior Journalist, joining us. He's flown in from Mumbai to Delhi, and he's going to be here with us. Nishtula Hebar of The Hindu with us. Nalin Mehta of Money Control, Managing Editor, with us. And of course, Rashid Kidwai joins us. Madhya Pradesh छोड़कर कुछ दिन हमारे साथ बिता रहे हैं. Till result day, if you're going to be there. Rashid bhai, let's start with you. We'll not start with Zaka on the wall, let's start with you. Which do you think are the 2-3 critical regions? Let's get into that.
I think Vidarbha is going to be most important region. Direct fight between Congress and BJP. Lot at stake.
the kind of that pro-Hindutva pitch that BJP unleashed during the campaign. So I think Vidarbha is make or break. I won't go even over 2-3 regions. Of course, Western Maharashtra continues to be very important, but that's where Pawar versus Pawar kind of narrative. Will they come together? That's one region. Of course, every region has its own importance, Anand, but it is Vidarbha which is going to decide the fate of Maharashtra.
He's got Rahul Shivshankar as an interesting projection of the leads. Lok Sabha seat strike rate, Lok Sabha to Assembly constituencies, the leads. Vidarbha was critical for the Maha Vikas Aghadi.
Yeah, in fact, the Vidarbha, the Maha Vikas Aghadi won 42 out of 62. The complete sweep. The Mahayuti only had 20 of those seats. That's really where this election was won and lost. And of course, in Marathwada, where the Mahayuti had 11 out of 46 when the MV had 32 out of 46. Those are the most significant. Between them, they have more than 100 seats between those two regions. If that number holds, then...
Well, just a few days ago, the News 18 Lokmat, and I was talking with the managing editor Mandar Farse and also Dhruva Jyoti, the cluster editor, and they had done an internal conversation with journalists and their own reporters. And they said the Maha Vikas Aghadi, Mahayuti, it's quite neck and neck. Across Maharashtra. And some said 5 plus minus 10 seats, either ways you were to see. But there were about 40 seats, 45 seats, which they said are critical because nobody knows which way they will go. And they said that a lot of it comes in the Vidarbha, Marathwada, and some seats in Mumbai region also. Rohit, agree, disagree with this kind of assessment? Is that possible?
I can say that this is but the most unpredictable election that I have seen in 30 odd years, and that's very evident if you go around in Vidarbha area, Marathwada region, or any other place, mainly because of the alliances being very odd. Nobody imagined, what I mean to say is nobody imagined just 3 years ago that Ajit Pawar and BJP would be together. Right, and we don't know whether the vote transfer is going to happen. In fact, in Lok Sabha, that vote transfer just didn't happen between Ajit Pawar and BJP. Similar is the condition on the other side also. We didn't imagine that Shiv Sena and Sharad Pawar will be together. Now, this brings that unpredictability because you don't know what the voter is thinking. We don't know what is going to happen on the ground.
Is it so difficult to get clarity? Can they establish Mashal, Tutari, etc.? But if we have to go by Lok Sabha, it actually didn't matter.
Anand, the only thing that I could see when I went there was that this was not the situation that was there on June 4th. So there has been some recovery by the Mahayuti. And there has, just as reporters and observers are looking for clarity, political parties are also looking for clarity because they're as much in the dark as the rest of us on whether this vote transfer is going to happen or not. So what we now see towards as the campaign season came to an end were these two overarching narratives which were kind of sought to be placed on the two alliances. So you have the Mahayuti with the Ladki Behin, which is giving an income support of 1,500 per month to women. Much like in Madhya Pradesh, that's the Madhya Pradesh model, and that was credited by turning around the Madhya Pradesh election. This was adopted by the Mahayuti pretty like a few months ago. And you have the agrarian distress Chhattisgarh model, which is being taken over by the Maha Vikas Aghadi, which is that they promised rupees 7,000 per quintal bonus to soybean farmers. So soybean farmers have been really troubled. They're saying that we're not getting enough remunerative prices for our crop. It depends on the moisture content of the soya plant, and that is determined by whoever is procuring it. So their income was pretty stagnant or low.
12% to 18%. Fadnavis himself said that.
So there's an agrarian distress with regard to them, the onion farmers and the cotton farmers. And whatever the Mahayuti government had done, obviously that didn't seem to be quite enough for the farmers there. So I think the Maha Vikas Aghadi saw what they did in Chhattisgarh in 2018, which is that they promised a paddy bonus and managed to vote out a 15-year BJP rule in that state. So they said, okay, we are going with agrarian distress. Mahayuti says we are going with women. These are two big overarching constituencies that can be carved out or carved above that of caste cleavages and those kind of categories.
Interestingly, what Devendra Fadnavis said when he spoke with us at News 18 is that this 12% moisture rate, it was 18%. We asked the Kisan to go ahead and dry out the soya because there was excessive monsoon, the moisture content was high. And it says, we've bought the soya now. So the dried up soya has been bought and we'll buy more. And that money is gone.
Yes,
That's
but
what
in
he
Chhattisgarh,
said.
if you
Now,
remember,
whether that
Anand, they
distress
waited,
remains
the
or not,
paddy
we have to
farmers
wait. And then
waited till
in
the
their
election
manifesto
was
also
over.
promised 6,000. The Congress or the MVA has promised 7,000.
Yeah, but in Chhattisgarh, they waited, if you recall.
Yeah, correct.
And they said, okay, let the election be over. If the Congress comes, we get more money. So, you know, some
we
of that
don't
could
know
happen.
which way it
Yeah,
swings.
yeah.
And this Vidarbha Marathwada, largely Kisan belt, so you will have a lot of impact there. Yes, Nalin.
So in many ways, Anand, this is a post-ideology election in Maharashtra, right?
ये सारे celebrities vote कर रहे हैं नलिन. ये वोटर क्यों नहीं वोट कर रहे हैं? 7% at 9 a.m. क्या बोलेंगे आप बोलो?
So, well, see, the point I'm trying to make is that the voter is also confused, just as political parties were, as Nisola was saying. This is a post-ideological election. Despite the narrative of batege to cutting on top and you know the garib and mahila on the bottom, it's like a jigsaw puzzle and it keeps shifting. And after the election, like Zaga was saying a few minutes ago, you don't know who will switch sides immediately after. This is an election where Ajit Pawar, who's allied with BJP, has said, I don't need Prime Minister Narendra Modi to campaign in my backyard.
Yeah.
He should campaign elsewhere.
I don't
This
need
is
him in
unheard
Baramati.
of any ally of the BJP in the past to say this so publicly, right? So therefore, it'll boil down a lot, I think, to micromanagement and local contests. Now, and I completely agree with Rashid. Vidarbha is critical because in the last 10 years, when the two elections where BJP became the single largest party in Maharashtra for the first time, Vidarbha was critical. Out of 62 seats in 2014, BJP won 44 and the Congress won 10. In 2019, the BJP won 29 and the Congress won 15. And in 2024 Lok Sabha, this is where the Congress made gains, and so did the NCP. So therefore, what happened in Vidarbha, I think, is critical more than what happened in other regions.
Yeah. What happened in Vidarbha happened
Well,
in Maharashtra.
Well, I think there are pictures of Nana Patole and Piyush Goyal going out to cast their vote. So they are doing their job. So the leaders, the celebrities, the known faces, they are all going out to cast their vote. Devendra Fadnavis should also be going out to cast his vote at about 10:20 in Nagpur. But point is, where is the voter? The bulk voter is not coming. Now, how much is that going to affect? Let's come back to those 166 seats, what you put together. And
I was saying that Vidarbha is important. I'm not saying it is not. 62 seats is the biggest region. Marathwada is important as well. It's 46 seats. This whole narrative about Maratha versus OBC, will it have any impact? Will Jarangi Patil have any impact? We'll have to wait and see in those 46 seats. And of course, the 50-odd seats in Western Maharashtra, which is Sharad Pawar's guard. Whether the concentrated vote that he has in Western Maharashtra will continue to come his way like it did in Lok Sabha 2024. So that's about 160 seats. Another way of looking at it, in football, there's this term called man-to-man marking, right? You've got Ronaldo on one side, you've got somebody sort of man-to-man marking him. I think this election is also going to be about man-to-man marking. We talked about BJP versus Congress direct fights. It's also about Sena UBT versus Shinde Sena direct fights. So let's take a look at those. Those are about 50-odd seats, I think 55 seats if I'm not mistaken. 51 seats. There are a large number of them are in Mumbai, Thane, some of them in the Konkan belt as well. There are a few in northern Maharashtra, in the Nashik belt, in the Nandurbar belt. There are very few outside of that. There are very few. If you look at Vidarbha, there's only one constituency, or two, I think, two constituencies where there is a Sena versus Sena fight. So there are about 50-odd seats where it's Sena versus Sena. The BJP United Sena won 45 of those 51 last time around. The Congress NCP had only 2. So again, this is going to be a critical factor. There is also NCP versus NCP. Let's take a look at that. This is Chacha Bhatija fight, as they say. NCP versus NCP Ajit Pawar versus NCP Sharad Pawar. The Sharad Pawar Congress, United NCP Congress, won 37 out of these 37 seats. So you're basically looking at 75 direct fights Congress BJP, 51 direct fights Sena UBT, another 37 direct fights NCP AP versus NCP SP. That again is 160 odd seats. So whoever wins, so this is basically literally man-to-man marking. There are very few seats, for example, where NCP Sharad Pawar, for example, is taking on Shinde Sena. Or Shinde Sena, outside of the Mumbai region, is taking on a Congress candidate. It's, I think, man-to-man. Whoever wins these individual battles in the straight fights between Congress and BJP, whoever emerges victorious in the straight fights between NCP Sharad Pawar and NCP Ajit Pawar, in the straight fights between SSUBT and Shinde Sena, whoever emerges in those mini fights ultimately will.
So you said 3 regions could prove bellwether that had Maratha, Vidarbha, Marathwada, Vidarbha, and also Western Maharashtra. That's about 166 seats. You say the street man-to-man marking, again 166, 60 odd seats that come into play. I'm just saying it. Some of these seats will
Many people
overlap.
are
Some of
also
these seats
saying
will
that
overlap
on
in
the
the region.
ground.
Yes.
It's actually the candidate that's going to pull in the votes. It's not so much the party and the alliance, but the candidate will all come down to a large connect with the
Ushme bhi Rahul,
candidate.
see, point is, Amit Thackeray is contesting, right? Amit Thackeray को किसका वोट खींच रहा है? मनसे का वोट खींच रहा है. Is he pulling all of the Mahayuti vote? Eknath Shinde in Thane will get, perhaps the BJP vote also will transfer. That also was not transferring as far as Vashi, Navi Mumbai, Nerul was concerned. During Lok Sabha, there were people who had a problem with that. Is that going to happen, Rohit? That this vote transfer happens, and in both sides there is a problem. Congress vote transfer will happen for NCP, NCP vote transfer will happen for NCP Congress. But will the UBT get any votes, transfer votes, core Shiv Sena votes, will it transfer to Congress, NCP? Or will they do that? Same thing with Ajit Pawar and Eknath Shinde and this one BJP.
Anand, that's what answers your question on voter apathy till now. The voter is probably thinking, हम किसी को भी vote करें, ये जाएंगे कहीं और ही, you know, they're gonna like suit their own purpose.
Mean you don't
so
vote.
let's not take the trouble.
No, but
let's
that
just
doesn't
watch
mean
what
you don't
happens.
vote. That then belies the mandate.
The opportunism and
is this a
cynicism
factor?
has
कि
had a
यार
toll on,
19 में तो
taken a
मैंने
toll.
जिसको vote किया, see, some people in Mumbai told me this when I was in Mumbai and I had a chat with some of the community there, and they said, क्या जिसको vote किया वो तो किधर और चला गया.
Exactly.
ECI should make a rule. And there should be a rule in the Representation of People's Act also that if you get elected from one party and you go in and then you do a dal badlu giri, you have to rescind, go back, get voted and then come back. You can't do otherwise.
That law exists, by the way. It's called the anti-defection
No,
law.
not the anti-defection law.
The problem is nobody takes it seriously.
No, what they are saying is not the anti-defection law. They are saying even if you have the numbers to do defect with the anti-defection, you should go back to the voter and get elected and then only come.
I'm not sure whether that can happen, but I agree with Rahul that candidates matter when it comes to Vidhan Sabha. See, we saw the Lok Sabha election recently, and we know it was fought on ideology. It was fought with Narendra Modi's face or BJP's ideology and all of that. At the Vidhan Sabha level, I think it's much more about the candidate because it's day-to-day matters that work. For instance, development, construction of roads, electricity supply, water supply, and all these things, especially in rural area. Coming to the voter apathy part, I think we have to, look at Maharashtra as a very industrialized, advanced kind of a state, but also backward in certain aspects. For instance, you have the most rich people of this country living in Mumbai, but you also have the poorest people living in Gadchiroli. That's in the same state, right? So you see this voter apathy in Mumbai, in South Mumbai, in Central Mumbai, where the voting percentage is just 45, 49. It's high in the Vidarbha region. It's high where politicians matter to people. It's high where, in a place like Marathwada, where drought conditions are there and government schemes make a difference. So you will see in Marathwada, the voting percentage is 71 in the Lok Sabha polls. In South Mumbai, it is 45. So voter apathy is not, general. It is not random. It has to do with, whether the place is developed or it is backward. That is how it works.
So, just to add to that point, look, also where various candidates are contesting from, which parties have got the region, also will matter this time. See, the reason why Congress is fundamentally crucial this time to the MVA is because it's in Vidarbha that most of its seats have been allocated, and the Khandesh, which is the North Maharashtra region. Now, if you look at, again, once again,
work in my constituency, and how the turn of fate happens, the tragic incident with Gopinath Munde, and suddenly 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, in fact, within a month, Devendra Fadnavis was actually Chief Minister of Maharashtra. So things turn around differently, and he's one of the few. Nitin Gadkari is speaking. Let's go.
सर ये नागपुर की जनता के लिए और महाराष्ट्र की जनता के लिए कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है इलेक्शन है, कितना इम्पोर्टेंट नागपुर की जनता के लिए और महाराष्ट्र की जनता के लिए ये इलेक्शन कितना बड़ा है?
देखिए, महाराष्ट्र ये देश का एक प्रगतिशील, समृद्ध और संपन्न राज्य है, और ये राज्य को सबसे ज्यादा फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट मिलती है, इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट अच्छी हो रही है, और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात है कि महाराष्ट्र में खेती भी बहुत अच्छे तरीके से, एग्रीकल्चर एक्सपोर्ट भी बढ़ रहा है, तो देश के लिए एक रोल मॉडल है। और इसलिए महाराष्ट्र के विकास के लिए और यहाँ के गांव, गरीब मजदूर, किसान के कल्याण के लिए अच्छी सरकार और अच्छा नेतृत्व, यही महाराष्ट्र के भविष्य को बदल सकता है। आज हमारा चुनाव यानी लोकतंत्र का उत्सव है, और मुझे सभी जनता से अपील करनी है कि वो किसी भी हालत में वोटिंग करे और अपना जो अधिकार है, एक प्रकार से मूलभूत अधिकार है, उसका वहन करे, और निश्चित रूप से लोकतंत्र को मजबूत।
सर, भाजपा के लिए क्या माहौल देख रहे हैं आप? क्या आप 80 से ज्यादा सभाएं कर चुके हैं पूरे राज्य में?
महाराष्ट्र में मेरा विश्वास है कि इस समय निश्चित रूप से हम लोग अच्छी मेजोरिटी मिलाकर चुनाव जीतेंगे।
बहुत सारे नारे दिए गए, बटेंगे तो कटेंगे, उन नारों का भी असर है क्या जमीन पे?
अभी सब छोड़ दीजिए, अभी सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात है कि लोगों को वोट देना, और वोट जो है वो डेवलपमेंट के लिए, विकास के लिए, महाराष्ट्र के भविष्य को
सर 10 साल से केंद्र में सरकार, सर 10 साल से कम नजर आया था, सर 10 साल से केंद्र में सरकार रही है भाजपा की, यहाँ राज्य में भी है। आप इस बार जब महाराष्ट्र की 80 सभाएं आपने की है कम से कम, क्या आप लोगों को में क्या देख रहे हैं, क्या डिफरेंट देख रहे हैं?
आप कहीं भी महाराष्ट्र में जाइए, आपको कहीं भी विकास दिखेगा। चाहे महाराष्ट्र के सिंचाई प्रकल्प होंगे, जो टेम्बू मैसाल जैसे, वो 12,000 करोड़ में जब वाटर रिसोर्स मंत्री था तब महाराष्ट्र को दिए। 6,000 करोड़ बड़ी राजा योजना में दिए, जो 50% से ज्यादा जिनका काम होकर बंद पड़े थे, और 6,000 करोड़ प्रधानमंत्री सिंचाई योजना में दिए। रोड तो आप हर जिले में जाके देखिए, और पूरे महाराष्ट्र की तस्वीर हमारी सरकार ने बदलाई है, और मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में महाराष्ट्र को एक नई दिशा दी है, और महाराष्ट्र की सरकार और हम मिलकर डबल इंजन की सरकार आएगी, और महाराष्ट्र प्रगतिशील, समृद्ध, संपन्न होकर महाराष्ट्र की जनता की पूरी अपेक्षा
23 तारीख को कमल खिलेगा?
कम रहा है
अभी तक वोट प्रतिशत कम रहा है।
इसलिए मैं सबको आह्वान करता हूं कि लोकतंत्र का ये उत्सव में आपका अधिकार है वोट करने का, आप बाहर आइए और वोट करिए, ज्यादा से ज्यादा वोटिंग प्रोसेस। हाँ, मराठी
So you asked him questions and he said, let's focus on development. He's urging voters to come out and vote. But Nitin Gadkari quite confident of the performance of the Mahayuti in Maharashtra in these elections. Nana Patole, we just saw, has reacted on the entire audio tape controversy. We'll try and play that out the moment that is ready. But interesting, the turn of fortune some netas will have. He's the Devendra Fadnavis casting his ballot. He's the perhaps the only chief minister to serve that full term in a long time across the political spectrum. Maharashtra never had a stable government and an administration that it's seen under Devendra Fadnavis, but then turn of fortunes for him. He's the DCM of the same state that of which he was chief minister, and now we don't know which way things will turn. Now he's out there with his mother, with his family. There have been personal jibes with Mrs. Fadnavis being brought into the fore. There is one reason very clearly that he was very clear that no matter what, BJP will not support Nawab Malik despite his candidature being announced by Ajit Pawar and backed by Ajit Pawar in Mankhurd, where there are two candidates, one officially from the Mahayuti, and then of course you have Nawab Malik also fighting that constituency. His daughter Sana Malik is actually fighting from Anushakti Nagar in Mumbai. But that's Devendra Fadnavis, soon after casting his ballot, posing for the cameras with his mother and his wife, Mrs. Amrita Fadnavis. And whether or not he speaks to the media, we'll wait and watch. I think they will come out a little fair distance, and then there should be some conversation. Does Mr. Fadnavis speak? We'll wait and watch. Now, how critical is this entire leadership aspect within the Mahayuti? Many believe that Eknath Shinde may not be the chief minister may not continue. Many are asking, what is Devendra Fadnavis' role going to be? Is he going to continue to be DCM, or is there going to be some other role for him at the center or somewhere else? What are the conversations, and how will that impact? Will the results impact all of that?
Well, Anand, various things that we are discussing about, the differences between Mahayuti and Maha Vikas Aghadi, or the factor that, they are neck and neck, and they are neck and neck, and nobody knows what the numbers are going to be. But one thing that we can definitely say is there is a huge difference between the kind of chemistry that the three leaders of Maha Vikas Aghadi have and the three leaders of Mahayuti don't have. I mean, it's very obvious that Ajit Pawar does not get along with Eknath Shinde. It's very obvious that Devendra Fadnavis is uncomfortable defending Ajit Pawar. It's very clear that Eknath Shinde is trying to dominate the situation. On the other side, you see that, all these three have very good chemistry. Rahul Gandhi, Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray. And maybe because they are in the opposition, they have that chemistry.
No, why should it be Rahul? Should it be Nana Patole?
No, the whole seat sharing business in Aghadi, because of Nana Patole can't stand, or vice versa. I think the Thackerays can't stand Nana Patole, so it's just as bad there.
No, not just bad. But the other thing is, in the last 1.5 to 2 years, you've seen smoother administration with two DCMs in Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar with Eknath Shinde, and all three of them at least sitting together and on the same page on multiple issues. Political ideology-wise also there is clarity. The two are ideologically linked and the third is politically linked, and there is political opposition. Compared to the time through COVID, etc., when it was Ajit Pawar running the administration, Uddhav Thackeray was indisposed and he never even came to the Mantralaya. That's what was the question, that he never came to the Sachivalaya Mantralaya for about 18 months. At that time, they said, who's leading? And Sharad Pawar was the one who's sitting there outside calling the shots, and the Congress said, Hamari to koi sunta nahi. Everybody was trying to push their own bureaucrats. Do you see that situation currently, or a faster execution of projects, completion of projects, and also things moving faster all around? So
I think I'm giving you a comparative picture. When I said that the chemistry is there or it is not there, I'm not saying that Nana Patole and Sanjay Raut are the best of friends. Obviously, they are fighting openly against each other. But I'm saying, when it comes to comparison, I told you what the difference is. Now, the thing is, maybe it is because they are in power and there is too much at stake, and there is some dispute about some file getting cleared, not cleared, which we hear between Ajit Pawar and Eknath Shinde especially. But I think politically speaking, because things are controlled a lot from Delhi, in case of Mahayuti and the government, you see better kind of discipline, or you see decisions coming out fast or whatever, because there are no questions asked, and things get controlled from top and disputes get resolved.
But in politics, doesn't this discipline matter? In administration, doesn't discipline and control matter? Hasn't Devendra Fadnavis been a better sutradhar in being able to moderate and manage both Eknath Shinde and Ajit Pawar, and still being able to push administration over the last 18 months? And you cannot take away from the fact that all three of them are hard workers. It's
That's
not
true.
that they are hardly working.
That's
You
true.
cannot say
So-
Ajit Pawar was one of the most able administrators, hard working person. Eknath Shinde, tireless. So much so he's gone through ill health over the last, and Fadnavis has been on display over the last 6-7 years. So three hardworking individuals versus, on the other side, equally
so
hardworking
hardworking.
individuals,
Yeah,
or in
not so
some
hardworking,
factions.
we
In some factions, you cannot
yeah,
take
I got
hard
your
work
point.
away from Sharad Pawar.
Yeah,
But can you say the same from some of the other political parties?
So what you are saying right now is related to administration and running the government. And I agree with you. This lot seems better in terms of administration, decision making, and other things. But when it comes to politics, electoral politics especially, you can't depend only on the leaders. You have to take your cadre, party cadre, your karyakartas, everybody along. And what you see on the ground is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, so the pass master is in the Aghadi camp. That is, as far as electoral politics, pass master is in the Aghadi camp, that's Sharad Pawar.
Last point, the vote transfer not happening, for instance, just one example, the vote transfer not happening between Ajit Pawar and BJP is mainly because of the karyakartas being unhappy at the BJP end. And that's what I mean when they
No,
know
obviously
that the
there 30 साल से तो आपस में लड़ रहे हैं, अभी साथ में कैसे आएंगे? जी.
See, about Indian politics, they said whatever you say about Indian politics, the opposite is equally true. You look at the situation. You are saying that
long live Newton.
Then Mahayuti is very cohesive and all. You look at the kind of that allegation that came yesterday about Mr. Tavade. The buzz is this is a political grapevine that it's some insider's job all over the people who are chief ministerial candidates or chief ministerial aspirants are being edged out as far as the BJP Shiv Sena is
You have
concerned.
Nawab Malik's picture. I think we can go back to that picture. This is a man that BJP and Shiv Sena, United Shiv Sena, they went so hard against him, even called him an aide of Dawood Ibrahim. He spent, I think, 2.5 years in jail.
And he went equally hard against Mrs. Fadnavis. Personal allegations
and he
which
refused
he made,
to back down. He's contesting. He was asked to back down. He said, "No, I'm not going to."
No, and Fadnavis is still clear that we will not support it.
There have been BJP
Fadnavis is still
flags
clear
at
we
his
will not
meetings,
support it.
even though in public BJP
So
has
that's
said we are not supporting this.
That's
flag.
exactly
But
what
their
I'm
flags
saying.
were there at his public meetings. So
No,
it's a very strange.
No. Fadnavis has very clearly said that the BJP is not going to back, and
That
there is a
may be
personal
so,
issue.
but they are not giving up on their candidate.
There is a reason there also, because the kind of comments that he made against Amrita Fadnavis and made it very personal, and that happened soon after his own son-in-law was caught in that entire drug net. So there is a lot of personal feud and political feud also which is there. But despite that, Nawab Malik is Nawab Malik, and Ajit Pawar has said, "I'll back him."
And as I said, BJP
So
flags
what
were
will
there at
voters
his
going to
public
do
meeting.
there? The BJP voters, what will they do there?
No, it's about Nawab Malik supporters. What will they do there?
No. Nawab Malik supporters want to win.
In this case,
That is true.
Nawab Malik, there is absence of ideology. He's not driven by. He wants to win. What I'm saying is, what is the BJP?
The
voters
BJP
are going to do?
will back the official candidate of the Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena Mahayuti. That's what they will back. That's what Fadnavis has said on record.
So they are supporting.
That's what
Nawab
Fadnavis
Malik.
has said on record. But my question to you is also, Rashid Kidwai, there are so many other seats where, despite Uddhav Thackeray's warning, there are independents who are standing there and who are fighting those seats. So who will the voter vote for there then?
That is what I'm saying.
So, like your own thing, no, politics, the opposite is also true.
And therefore, I disagree with Zaka Jacob when he says there is man-to-man marking. I feel in this Maharashtra election, there is no man-to-man marking because both the key ideological players, Congress and BJP, they are helpless, bystanders. They cannot do anything. So they're going to be emergence of one Sena, which will emerge as a sort of politically strong, and one NCP. So these people cannot do anything. And what I also believe, and
Rahul
Rohit may
says the
disagree
whole
with me.
election will be decided in the 75 seats between Congress and BJP.
No,
You're saying the exact
I don't know
opposite.
how Rohit sees it, but I see the real
No,
election
Rahul,
will start.
not Rohit.
No, I'm talking about Rohit. You see, the real elections in Maharashtra will begin after 23rd of November.
Real elections in Maharashtra will begin after 23rd of November. Oh. So you're saying or bhi khel hone wala hai.
The one thing that we have forgotten in this whole thing is that there are many people who are suggesting, that at least 30 seats might go to the
Independent, 20 seats independents are there. There are a lot of 25 seats. There are independents at play.
So, I mean, this could even be hung.
This could
be MVA hung.
Which was the reason?
It has been hung.
Which was the reason?
This is likely to be hung. There is a chance. And in 1999, we saw almost 30 independent candidates getting elected. And they were the ones who decided who should, come to power. And many of them, in 95 also, we saw many independents. And in fact, many independents became ministers. And, the party leaders who were there for 20, 25 years were sidelined and independents
Is
became
that then
ministers.
good for Maharashtra? The voters have to decide. You have to decide. Is such a situation good for Maharashtra? Yeah.
I said this was also the reason why this katoge to batoge slogan, everybody in the Mahayuti side,
batoge to katoge
was decried by everybody in the Mahayuti scheme of things, because they felt that this would stop the disintegration of a consolidation that had happened in the Lok Sabha election. And that minority consolidation happens at a much faster rate. There's a much more sense of seats.
It's already there. The Muslim vote consolidation has already happened. It's
that
already
may
solidified.
be so, but they were always hoping that it would not be the same as it was in the Lok Sabha. And Mr. Shinde, as Chief Minister, had done a lot to kind of ameliorate matters and relationship with the minority communities, in the hope that, because Shiv Sena's UBT has been the most direct benefactor, beneficiary of this consolidation.
When you say minority, it is specifically Muslims, right?
Yes.
So it's the Muslim community.
Yes.
So let's say Muslim community.
Yes.
2 points. Firstly, on the others question, in 2014 also there were 20 others who won. In 2019, 29 others who won. So if you have a similar repeat.
So 29 to 30
anything
के
over
बीच में
20 is
average है वो normal
I
है.
have
Normal is
one,
what it is.
even though it's confusing and 6 parties and voters don't know, BJP voter, will they vote for Nawab Malik and all of that? I think the choice is binary. Either you're voting for the Mahayuti or you're voting for the Maha Vikas Aghadi. I think whenever it's a binary choice, you'll more or less have a
eventually
you'll have a decisive.
Let's say if Nawab Malik wins Mankur, is he going to break away from Ajit Pawar? He's going to be part of that Mahayuti. He's going to be
a the voter. It's very clear. It's either this choice or that.
No, he will be part. Yeah, so he will be part of the Mahayuti only. That's what's going to happen.
About Nawab Malik was the one who created headlines just 7-8 days ago. Speaking to Marathi channels, he said, "चुनाव के बाद कुछ भी हो सकता है, ऐसा नहीं कि हम इनके साथ ही रहेंगे."
If it has to be decisive, that's the reason why I'm constantly coming back to this BJP Congress contest. If it has to be decisive, the BJP and the Congress have to ensure that they damage each other extensively for it to be
all of
decisive.
this can happen
I'll
only
give you
if the
just a
voter comes
statistic,
out.
and I finally damn well found that damn statistic. 90 assembly seats, 52 the Congress led, BJP 38. In the in the Lok Sabha projected onto the assembly in Maharashtra.
Which
in Maharashtra, obviously.
In Maharashtra, not across region specific,
across
overall.
Across the state.
Overall, all right, overall. So that's the case. But all of this, ladies and gentlemen, can happen only if the voter of Maharashtra and Jharkhand goes out to vote. You have to vote in large numbers for any number to come and for it to have any relevance or any stake or any purpose, ladies and gentlemen. Don't crib if you have not voted. That's something which we believe. If you have voted, then you have every right to question and ask. Otherwise, don't, because you've not done your own fundamental duty. We're taking a very short break. Stay with us.
And I'm joined by a battery of reporters from Maharashtra who are in fact reporting on ground. Mayuresh is in fact reporting from Bandra East, tracking the Thackeray family. Payal is in fact reporting from Central Nagpur, tracking RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat. Yesha from Thane, tracking Eknath Shinde. And Pallavi from Baramati, tracking Sharad Pawar. Now let me go first across to Payal, who's in fact reporting from Central Nagpur, tracking Mohan Bhagwat. Payal, tell us what time is Mohan Bhagwat supposed to arrive there, and also given the fact that in Haryana we have seen how RSS played a very crucial role. What are you observing when it comes to Maharashtra, the role of RSS in the Maharashtra elections?
Well, to begin with, Mohan Bhagwat, the RSS chief, is already in the polling booth. He should be out within the next couple of minutes after having cast his vote. Remember, he came here at least 10 minutes before the voting really began. Because, this is where the RSS headquarters really is. And this is a very, very important center as far as the BJP is really concerned. Because, both, whether it's Devendra Fadnavis or whether it's Nitin Gadkari, both son of the soil, or their allegiance to the RSS, and of course, have been part of the RSS from their very, very childhood as well. So the RSS contribution is extremely important. As far as the BJP is really concerned. The Jan Sangh is, what they date back to. And we've seen what they were able to do, in Haryana. So even if sources are to be believed over here in Maharashtra, they're working overtime. Their basic agenda, Sharon, is to, in fact, encourage people to go out and vote. That last-ditch effort campaigning has shut about 24 to 48 hours ago, but the last bit of effort to, in fact, take people, to the polling booth, that's exactly what the RSS specializes in. And, the workers have been working overtime. I'm given to understand that they're working in not just the constituency of the BJP is very strong, but also the constituencies where the Mahayuti is, in fact, contesting as well. So that's something which is going to be important to see. We'll see Mohan Bhagwat stepping out in a bit from now, and he'll probably be giving us a soundbite as well. But a very, very crucial election as far as Vidarbha on the whole is really concerned, given the fact that Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis is contesting from Nagpur south-west seat as well. So that's something which is going to be very important to watch out for. We're just keeping our cameras waiting for Mr. Mohan Bhagwat to step out, and he's of course accompanied by the other RSS office bearers as well. Any moment from now, Sharon, he should be out, and it'll be important to see what his message really to the people of the country is, people of Maharashtra is concerned. And let's just see what message he gives to people of Maharashtra in terms of their importance to cast this particular vote, and whether he makes any other statement as well. That remains to be seen.
Absolutely, Payal. In fact, please stay with us. We'll keep coming back to you as and election, Supriya Sule won that seat. What have been your observation in Baramati? Which side is the pendulum going to swing?
Well, first of all, Baramati, as we all know, is a bastion of Sharad Pawar, and it was a hard-fought election which took place during Lok Sabha, where Ajit Pawar's wife Sunita took on Supriya Sule, and of course she won. Well, over here, the Pawar versus Pawar factor pretty much plays out on the ground, but no one is going to talk about it openly. But many people do indicate that what works in the Lok Sabha may be very different as far as the assembly is concerned. In many more ways than one, it is a prestige battle really for Mr. Sharad Pawar himself. As we know, he's almost the fulcrum of the MVA. Both the Congress as well as the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena are depending a lot on his good performance. And should there be, and there's a big if about it, a hung assembly, then they are depending on Mr. Sharad Pawar's and his acumen, his maturity, and the fact that he has good equations across political spectrums to be able to swing the fortunes in favor of the MVA. But interestingly, in a late night development, there were huge allegations which were made by the BJP against Supriya Sule, and she of course rebutted it. She should be here at around 8 a.m. we are told to cast her vote over here. She's accused the BJP of dirty politics. The BJP hit by the Thackeray, hit by those allegations of distributing money among the party workers and the voters. So those factors are good.
इलेक्शन में भी सुप्रिया सुले और नाना पटोले उसका प्रयोग कर रहे हैं। केवल इतना नहीं, जो चैट बॉक्स में सिग्नल में चैटिंग्स आई हुई है, उसमें तो सुप्रिया सुले और नाना पटोले के अलावा few other big players, और भी कुछ बिग प्लेयर्स हैं। मुझे तो पता है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी में द बिगेस्ट प्लेयर तो आप भी जानते हैं, द मॉम एंड द सन। उनसे बड़ा प्लेयर तो कोई नहीं। इस लूट पर खसौट के खेल में, करप्शन के खेल में अगर इस देश में सबसे बिगेस्ट प्लेयर कोई है तो वो सोनिया जी और राहुल जी हैं। और एलिजेडली जिस प्रकार की ये बातें हो रही हैं और करोड़ों करोड़ रुपए इसमें इन्वॉल्व है, 235 करोड़ जो हमें सुनने को मिल रहा है, तो इसमें किसी प्रकार का संदेह नहीं होना चाहिए कि मार्केट में आज जो लोग चर्चा कर रहे हैं कि कहीं ना कहीं इसमें राहुल जी का निर्देश अवश्य होगा। ये मैं केवल ये नहीं कहूंगा कि ये हम एलेज कर रहे हैं, हम तो चाहेंगे कि राहुल जी इस पर प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करें और अपनी तरफ से सफाई भी दे कि क्या उन्होंने नाना पटोले को निर्देशित नहीं किया। क्या सुप्रिया सुले जी जिस प्रकार से निर्देश दे रही है कि डोंट प्ले गेम्स विथ मी, आई वांट द मनी इमीडिएटली, और ये 235 करोड़ रुपए का ट्रांजैक्शन दुबई से हो रहा है, इसके पीछे का हकीकत क्या है। आपको ये लग रहा होगा कि आखिर ये गौरव मेहता ये 2 दिन पहले चुनाव के समय ये सब बातें क्यों कह रहा है। हमें भी लगा कि आखिर अभी क्यों खुलासा हो रहा है। तो बड़े ध्यान से मैंने रविंद्र पाटिल के इंटरव्यू को सुना, रविंद्रनाथ पाटिल के इंटरव्यू को सुना।
Co-powered by. And I'm joined by a battery of reporters from Maharashtra who are in fact reporting on ground. Mayuresh is in fact reporting from Bandra East, tracking the Thackeray family. Payal is in fact reporting from Central Nagpur, tracking RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat. Yesha from Thane, tracking Eknath Shinde. And Pallavi from Baramati, tracking Sharad Pawar. Now let me go first across to Payal, who is in fact reporting from Central Nagpur, tracking Mohan Bhagwat. Payal, tell us what time is Mohan Bhagwat supposed to arrive there, and also given the fact that in Haryana we have seen how RSS played a very crucial role. What are you observing when it comes to Maharashtra, the role of RSS in the Maharashtra elections?
Well, to begin with, Mohan Bhagwat, the RSS chief, is already in the polling booth. He should be out within the next couple of minutes after having cast his vote. Remember, he came here at least 10 minutes before the voting really began, because, this is where the RSS headquarters really is. And this is a very, very important center as far as the BJP is really concerned, because, both, whether it's Devendra Fadnavis or whether it's Nitin Gadkari, both son of the soil, or their allegiance to the RSS, and of course have been part of the RSS from their very, very childhood as well. So the RSS contribution is extremely important as far as the BJP is really concerned. The Jan Sangh is, what they date back to. And we've seen what they were able to do, in Haryana. So even if sources are to be believed, over here in Maharashtra, they're working overtime. Their basic agenda, Sharon, is to in fact encourage people to go out and vote. That last ditch effort campaigning has shut about 24 to 48 hours ago, but the last bit of effort to in fact take people, to the polling booth, that's exactly what the RSS specializes in. And the workers have been working overtime. I'm given to understand that they're working in not just the constituency of the BJP is very strong, but also the constituencies where the Mahayuti is in fact contesting as well. So that's something which is going to be important to see. We'll see Mohan Bhagat stepping out in a bit from now, and he'll probably be giving us a sound bite as well. But a very, very crucial election as far as Vidarbha on the whole is really concerned, given the fact that Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis is contesting from Nagpur west seat as well. So that's something which is going to be very important to watch out for. We're just keeping our cameras waiting for Mr. Mohan Bhagat to step out, and he's of course accompanied by the other RSS office bearers as well. Any moment from now, Sharon, he should be out, and it'll be important to see what his message really to the people of the country is, people of Maharashtra is concerned. And let's just see what message he gives to people of Maharashtra in terms of their importance to cast this particular vote, and whether he makes any other statement as well. That remains to be seen.
Absolutely, Payal. In fact, please stay with us. We'll keep coming back to you as and when Mohan Bhagwat will cast his vote and will come out. Let me now directly go across to Pallavi, who is in fact reporting from Baramati. Pallavi, Baramati is once again seeing Pawar versus Pawar in Lok Sabha election. Supriya Sule won that seat. What have been your observation in Baramati? Which side is the pendulum going to swing?
Well, first of all, Baramati, as we all know, is a bastion of Sharad Pawar, and it was a hard-fought election which took place during Lok Sabha, where Ajit Pawar's wife Sunita took on Supriya Sule, and of course she won. Well, over here, the Pawar versus Pawar factor pretty much plays out on the ground, but no one is going to talk about it openly. But many people do indicate that what works in the Lok Sabha may be very different as far as the assembly is concerned. In many more ways than one, it is a prestige battle really for Mr. Sharad Pawar himself. As we know, he's almost the fulcrum of the MVA. Both the Congress as well as the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena are depending a lot on his good performance. And should there be, and there's a big if about it, a hung assembly, then they are depending on Mr. Sharad Pawar's and his acumen, his maturity, and the fact that he has good equations across political spectrums to be able to swing the fortunes in favor of the MVA. But interestingly, in a late night development, there were huge allegations which were made by the BJP against Supriya Sule, and she of course rebutted it. She should be here at around 8 a.m. we are told to cast her vote over here. She's accused the BJP of dirty politics. The BJP hit by the Vinod Tavre, hit by those allegations of distributing money among the party workers and the voters. So those factors are going to be important. But, I think at the end of the day, the local factors, Baramati is pretty well developed, is the sugarcane hub or bowl of Maharashtra. In that sense, there's a lot of development on the ground, but people are also deeply divided. The Pawar...
Good morning and a warm welcome. You're watching CNN News 18 with me, Maha Vikas Aghadi. And after that high decibel campaign, Maharashtra is voting today. We're going to get you all the latest updates in just a bit with our guests. But right now, we're receiving some breaking news. Guyana and Barbados is to confer their top awards to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In fact, Dominica has already announced its top award for the Prime Minister a few days back. Nigeria also has announced its awards for the Prime Minister. Number of international honors for the Prime Minister coming in. Guyana, in fact, is going to be conferring its highest national award, the Order of Excellence, on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And Barbados will also confer a similar prestigious honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados on the Prime Minister. So a great recognition there coming in from the Prime Minister from all of these nations. Executive Editor, CNN News 18's Aman joins us now for the latest on this. Aman, a great news coming in, and these kind of awards for the Prime Minister, recognition of all the work that he has done over the years.
Well, absolutely, Avantika. It seems to be raining awards for the Prime Minister, 19 so far. And, these 3 awards which have been given, Guyana, Barbados, as well as Dominica, announcing their top awards for the Prime Minister during his visit. We are seeing this 3-nation visit which the Prime Minister is on, along with his G20 trip. The Guyana is, in fact, conferring its highest national award, the Order of Excellence. Earlier, Barbados has also conferred the prestigious honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados on the Prime Minister. And Dominica, we know, as a few days back, had also around his highest national award. Also, when the Prime Minister today became the first Indian PM to visit Guyana in 56 years. So that's also a big milestone. He was received at the airport by the president and over a dozen cabinet ministers. In fact, the president of Guyana, the PM of Grenada, and the PM of Barbados were at the hotel to receive the Prime Minister along with various ministers of Guyana. So a growing recognition, I think, for the Prime Minister and his contribution in various. These are also the nations, Avantika, in whom India has really helped during the COVID pandemic, sending them the vaccines and others. So there's a lot of goodwill there. And I think that shows in the kind of honor which has been given to the Prime Minister.
Indeed. Thanks so much for joining us, Aman. I'm going to come back to you for the Maharashtra election news, which now is going to be our focus. Just a few hours before polling in battleground Maharashtra, BJP's national spokesperson Sudhanshu Trivedi has accused the Congress leader Nana Patole and NCP leader Supriya Sule of being involved in this big cryptocurrency fraud to influence the election result in favor of the Maha Vikas Aghadi. These allegations came after claims by the former IPS officer Ravindranath Patil, who alleged that Supriya Sule and Nana Patole misappropriated bitcoins linked to a 2018 cryptocurrency fraud case to fund the ongoing Maharashtra Assembly elections. Now, in a sharp response, Supriya Sule has strongly denied the accusations and the allegations that have been made against her, and has even gone ahead and filed a criminal complaint with the Election Commission of India and the Cybercrime Department seeking action against all of these allegations that have been targeted towards her. She says, in fact, that it isn't her voice on the audio tapes and that she is ready to face the questions on this matter. In fact, taking to social media X, she has even labeled these allegations to be false information and has even challenged the BJP for an open debate, a discussion on this matter. Even after Supriya Sule's denial, the Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar has broken his silence on this matter. In fact, he said that he actually recognizes his sister's voice on the tapes, despite the fact that Supriya Sule has been maintaining that all of that voice is fake, it's been altered. He, in fact, has said that he recognizes the second voice as well.
वो ये कहता है कि मैं पहले ही लफड़े में फंस चुका हूं, मैं ऐसी किसी चीज में नहीं पड़ना चाहता। तो वो दूसरा व्यक्ति ये कह रहा है कि नहीं साहब, इसमें बड़े लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं और वो कांग्रेस के महाराष्ट्र के अध्यक्ष नाना पटोले जी का तथा कथित रूप से नाम लेता है और सुप्रिया सुले जी का तथा कथित रूप से नाम लेता है। सबसे पहले वो ये बताएं कि जो इस वीडियो क्लिप में और ऑडियो क्लिप में दिखाई पड़ रहा है, क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी अथवा उनके किसी भी नेता सुप्रिया सुले जी के बारे में दावा किया गया है, क्या वो बिटकॉइन के किसी भी ट्रांजैक्शन में इन्वॉल्व हैं या नहीं?
I have spoken against bitcoins. I have spoken against cryptocurrency. I am somebody who has raised very serious issues about all this.
ये व्यक्ती काही महिने तुरुंगात होते. त्याचं म्हणणं काय, याची नोंद तरी कशाला घ्यायची? माझ्या मते त्याची नोंद घेण्याची आवश्यकता नाही. भाजप आणि त्यांच्या एकंदरीत सगळ्या कॅम्पेनकडे बघायचा दृष्टिकोन किती खालच्या पातळीचा आहे हे स्पष्ट होते. यापेक्षा अधिक त्याचा मला भाष्य करायचं नाही.
उसके बारे में जो कुछ ऑडियो दिखा रहे हैं, वो आवाज़ के बारे में मुझे इतना ही जानकारी है। मैं दोनों को भी बहुत अच्छी तरह से जानता हूँ, बहुत सालों से जानता हूँ। एक तो मेरी परिवार की मेरी बहन है और दूसरे हमने जिनके साथ बहुत साल काम किया है, एक दूसरे के विरोध में भी किया है, एक दूसरे के साथ भी किया है, महा विकास आघाड़ी में भी किया है। वो बीच में बीजेपी के भी मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट थे। ऐसे सभी जगह उन्होंने काम किया, तो वो भी आवाज उनका ही है, उनका बोलने का टोन, उनका आवाज दोनों का वही है। अभी इसके बारे में इंक्वायरी हो जाएगी, इंक्वायरी होने के बाद पता चलेगा कौन है, क्या है इसके पीछे, सच राज क्या है वो पता चलेगा।
Okay, the news is coming in right now. Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister has also responded to this entire Bitcoin scam allegation. Devendra Fadnavis, in fact, has said that it's a very serious allegation and there should be an investigation to find the truth.
मैंने कल भी स्पष्ट कर दिया, न उन्होंने कोई पैसा बांटा, न उनके पास कोई पैसा मिला। जानबूझकर एक बवाल खड़ा करने का प्रयास किया गया, एक इकोसिस्टम को यूज किया गया। जहाँ तक सुप्रिया सुले जी पर और नाना पटोले जी पर जो आरोप लगे हैं, जिस प्रकार से एक पूर्व आईपीएस अधिकारी ने कुछ आरोप लगाए हैं, कुछ क्लिप्स उन्होंने जारी की है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये बहुत गंभीर इस प्रकार का प्रकरण है और मैं आज इतना ही कहूँगा, इस प्रकरण की सिरे से जांच होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि इस प्रकार के एलिगेशन लगने के बाद वास्तविकता क्या है ये दुनिया के सामने आना बहुत जरूरी है।
Okay, so that is the Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis speaking on this big scam and the allegation against Supriya Sule, who has denied. In fact, she's been claiming that there is no truth in it, that her voice has been altered. It's a fabrication of her voice. Let me go straight across now to our reporters. We have Mayuresh, who's joining us. Yesha is also joining us. It's a big day, Mayuresh. Finally, after a very bitter, personal, acerbic campaign, the people of Maharashtra are going out to vote. So how has it been? Mumbai and Maharashtra is known for the voters coming out and trickling in very small numbers. They take their time. How's it looking out there?
Since morning, if we see that it's just a 6% voting which had happened in across Maharashtra till 9 a.m. and the highest voting has happened that is in Gadchiroli, which is somewhere around 12.33%. So you can imagine that the morning session was really bad. And as expected, that Mumbai is known for a lower voter turnout. So it would be interesting to see whether Mumbaikas break the record or not, because this time there are a lot of issues. There are 6 parties which are in 6 parties which are in fray. A lot of issues are there. And Mumbaikas are always vocal about the issues, but when it comes to voting, the voter percentage basically disappoints everyone, and we have seen that in Lok Sabha also. So it would be interesting to see, because since morning we are here at the Bandra East polling booth, one of the polling booths over here, and since morning we are seeing that senior citizens are coming in a large number, but the younger generation or the mid-age people have basically not come in a large number. We are expecting that once the day, slowly the day passes, that people will come out of their houses and they will cast their vote. Right now, I'm standing at this particular polling station called Sahitya Sahwas, which is a residential colony where they have created the polling station, because this time the election commission has thought that creating a polling booth inside the society or in the societies will help them to get more voters, and that's why this one of the booths have been placed here. This is the booth where a Thackeray family is expected in a while to come, and I'll ask my camera person Rajesh to show the visuals. You can see that all the media, especially I'll say that the Mumbai media, is basically waiting for the Thackeray family, Uddhav Thackeray, Aditya Thackeray, Rashmi Thackeray. They are expected here in a while. So it would be interesting to see that how much voter percentage voter turnout this time happens in Mumbai as well as in Maharashtra, because if the Gadchiroli district, like Gadchiroli, which is a remote district, if it can be basically create a good number, then why not Mumbai city or any other district in Maharashtra? Back to you.
Absolutely. Just kindly stay on with me, Mayuresh. We're going to keep coming back to you. Let's also get in all our guests. We have Rohit Chandravarkar, who's a senior journalist, Rashid Kidbai, a senior journalist as well, Nistula Heber, who's a political editor of The Hindu, and Aman Sharma, executive editor, CNN News 18. Let me come to you, Rohit, first. This has been a very bitterly fought contest. You've had personal attacks, both the sides, in fact, hurling these attacks and making very controversial speeches ranging from corruption to communal polarization. How have you viewed this entire election? It's a mighty Maha election between these two huge alliances.
That's correct. In fact, like I said sometime back, this is a very unpredictable kind of a situation in Maharashtra right now, because we never saw so many parties fighting, firstly. Secondly, we didn't see these kinds of alliances happening where, yesterday's enemies have come together today and formed alliances, etc. The other factor, of course, is Maharashtra battle is always a high-stake battle, because it is India's most industrialized state, a developed state. It attracts